Bonjour, bienvenue. Avant qu'on commence, who is okay with English? I just want to check. Yes, English is fine. Yes. Who needs a French translation? Absolutely. Like, qui a besoin d'une traduction en français? Absolument. Non. Okay. Good. We'll do it in English then. We'll do everything in English. Welcome everyone. I'm really glad that you made it here, and I'm really grateful that we have the dream team here with us to talk about 𝗕𝗃𝗃𝗃. So this event is going to go in different parts. First, we'll talk a little bit about the product, the frequencies, like quantum medicine. Like, you're going to explain how it works and the science behind it. It's really really fascinating topic. And afterwards, we'll do a little break so you can get a refreshment if you want. And there's going to be space for Q&A, etc. And afterwards, we'll speak about a business opportunity behind the product. So it's more about generating income streams through this, etc., etc. So there's also going to be a giveaway. So for those who stay until the end, there's a little bit of a gift that you can get. I don't know, Camille, if you want to say something about how your connection with, this entire world of frequencies and yeah.
Hey, hi everybody. Thank you for being here. It's super nice to see you all. So my name is Camille. I'm a coach and an entrepreneur. And I think when Alex told me about like the 𝗕𝗃𝗃𝗃 and all the frequencies, I had this, vision from when I was a child, where I knew that kind of medicine or that kind of thing existed, but I did not have like kind of the toy yet. And so this is really what it did for me. It's really, I believe that there is a world where we can play with frequencies. We can really use something to create the frequency that we want to be in, and we can do it ourselves, but we can also do it now with technology. So that is why this is really close to my heart, because I really believe that more and more, this is going to be the world we live in. And just maybe to share it, like around what it means for me, we are connected every day in different parts of the planet. Like, we are streaming here, we have people watching us from different places. But this is also what we do with our thoughts. And so the more we are playing with technologies as 𝗕𝗃𝗃𝗃, the more we realize that actually everything is frequency. And so this is what, for me, is like, oh my God, like, this is going to be a future that is going to be so magical. And so I'm really happy to like have you all here to talk about that and see how we can envision a future where frequencies and waves and all the invisible is more and more present. So yeah, this is what it means to me.
Yeah, and we've both been playing with these frequencies since last year, basically. Yeah. I was doing a 6-month in-depth health program at a center. I was going there like 3 times a week, and I was doing all kinds of health treatments. And so within this process, a medical doctor, introduced me to the 𝗕𝗃𝗃𝗃, so frequency healing. And I was immediately fascinated by it. So I wanted to know everything about it. I did all this research. I went into all these videos and really looked at everything that I could find about frequency healing. And I was really fascinated from the beginning. Then I started testing it on myself, and for several weeks. And I started feeling the effects, right? Of like, wow, like this frequency program gives me that effect and that effect and that effect. And we started comparing with the doctor the results of, because she was using it as well, the results of my blood test and the results that the frequency device was getting for me. And they were the same every time. So for me, just like layer after layer became like so, helpful. So I started using it in my work as well. I'm a coach, I have a coaching business. And so I started testing frequency healing face-to-face and at a distance for my clients as well. And so I realized it worked as well, at a distance as well. And the scans and my clients started feeling the frequency healing, at a distance and feeling like very strong effects. And so I started integrating it in my work as well as a coach. And it really supports me because from session to session, clients are doing energy work with frequency next to the coaching sessions that we do. So it really helps. Yeah.
Excusez-moi.
So it really supports me in my work. And so I started seeing week after week since last year that it helped me on a personal level with my energy management. I've been dealing with like an autoimmune condition since 16 years. So health hacking is a big thing. And I started seeing that it really helped me, the frequency healing. And on top of that, it helped me in my coaching business with my clients. And then I started looking at investment opportunities and like income generation through this as well, which also started working. So for me, it's like so many beautiful things around this device. And just for the anecdotes, at the beginning of this year, I got COVID, but at the beginning I didn't know. And so I scan myself with this frequency device every morning. And the device started getting results. It started showing results. You need support for your lungs, you need support for your immune system, you need support for your lungs, immune system, and I didn't understand because I was feeling okay. And it showed that for a few days, and like 3 days later, I had COVID symptoms for the first time, and I took a test and it was positive. I was like, oh my God, like the device understood I had COVID before I understood it, right? So it's really freaky. And then I started running immune system support frequency programs, and I was only sick for an afternoon. When I hear stories of people being sick for like 3 weeks, but for an afternoon I was in bed, which never happens normally to me. And then the next day I was working, right? And I was using frequency support programs. So there's so many anecdotes, not only for me, but also for anyone that uses frequency healing, of beautiful effects. And so we wanted to tell you a little bit more about this today. So yeah. Maybe you guys want to take over and dive in.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Do we need these, or we can just
I
can hear
think it's
ourselves?
okay.
Fine, that's fine.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Who here has a Healy already? Put your hands up.
Oh, super. So we have a lot of new people.
We have no work to
Amazing.
do.
Yeah, super. Maybe quickly introduce yourself and I introduce myself.
We are in here.
Ah, okay, super.
Awesome.
Well, not anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, first time for you and me also.
Yeah.
Brussels.
Yeah, Brussels.
I introduce you quickly as long as it's blue. So this is 𝗕𝗃𝗏. We met, when did we meet? 2.5 years ago, 2019 November.
Yeah.
And there was also a Healy convention like this one, but much bigger. And since then we started building Healy for ourselves, where we are not connected in any way, we're not linked into a business or whatsoever, but we just had the same purpose and the same mission. And that really drove us basically to go out and share Healy with the world. And maybe you can explain quickly, like, what is your Healy moment? Like, why did you decide to share Healy?
Well, is it okay if I talk about Atlantis? Because we are in this room, right? So long before, I guess, I really knew anything about frequency technology or anything like that, I'd actually had this really interesting soul reading. And again, is it okay that I talk about that in this room? Because sometimes some rooms you're not allowed to. And they'd actually said to me, you are really here to help bring this new, to bring this frequency to the world and really protect it and make sure that it is really given to the planet in the way in which we want you to use it. Because if you believe in Atlantis, apparently back in those days, I was part of a frequency technology that was going out to the world, and it got into the wrong hands. And it was my karma to actually put it into the right hands in this lifetime. So I don't even think I tell you that, do I?
No, you did.
Yeah.
I remember.
So I just thought I would tell you that because we're in the room of Atlantis, so that was kind of a funny story. But
Nice.
yeah, but I've always been very passionate about really helping create conscious communities, but very, very passionate about health and wellness. I've been in that space for over 20 years now. But I'm really particularly passionate about something that sometimes people in this room don't want to talk about, and that's actually creating money and income with such a beautiful product. The reason I'm so passionate about it is because I truly believe that if we resource the beautiful people on this planet, we will create a more beautiful planet. And so that's why, unashamedly, I will talk to you today about the incredible opportunity of what it is to share Healy. I'm sorry my phone's going off. I'm trying to, I don't know why it's doing that.
Maybe just get out of the WhatsApp.
Just to wake you up. Or maybe, Maybe just like put my WhatsApp on there. Very awkward. But it was really, I guess, understanding why this device came to our planet or came to creation, did I really start to fully align with that mission. And as Max beautifully said, we kind of bumped into each other in November 2019 in Barcelona at something sort of similar to this. And we both kind of were like, we've got the same vision and mission. And so we formed an alliance, if you like, to help, I guess, protect 𝗕𝗃𝗃, right? And help bring it to the...
And we got stuck in Bali.
And
we had no choice. We had to work together.
So we had to.
Over COVID.
The universe put us down, sure.
Yeah. So maybe to just quickly share my 𝗕𝗃𝗃 moment. That was almost 3 years ago, and I met the founder of 𝗕𝗃𝗃, 𝗕𝗃𝗃𝗃. We're going to talk about him in a second. Maybe do the mission or whatever. I don't know.
You don't
Feel like
give
I'm
up there.
And I was actually very different, To this time, I was like feeling I want to create more money. I had a really successful real estate agency in Bangkok in Thailand, and I made good money, but I wanted to have more money, And I was trying to manifest it, but at the same time, I was like really empty inside, and I was looking for something which I didn't know, Because today I understand we have to listen to our hearts more, and we have to listen to our feelings, and everything is energy. Now, meanwhile, you understand who makes you feel good, who's not making you feel good. It's all vibration, it's all energy, right? So this time, I didn't know, but I knew there was a feeling. But in my mind, I said, I need more money. And then 𝗕𝗃𝗃 came to me. It came to me through a friend of a friend of a friend. And this is how I also met Markus Schmieke, who's the founder. We're going to talk about him. And I was talking really that night with him for like 3 hours, and he explained me everything about his technology. I had so many questions. After these 3 hours, I didn't know anything what he was talking about for 3 hours, because it was like out of my world, out of my way to comprehend things, because it's all about frequency, energy, quantum field, observation, intention, all these things. But what I understood was basically there is a device which has frequencies, and everything and everywhere are frequencies. And no matter what you want to support in your life, there's a frequency program for it. So it doesn't matter if you can't sleep, you can use the sleeping program, and it puts you better into sleep, and you sleep better, deeper, and so forth. You have no energy in the morning, there's a frequency program called energy. You take these energy frequencies in there, it's like 2 coffees, it makes you alert and active and so forth. So there's a frequency program for simply everything. And in my mind, in my business mind, I think like, wow, if 1% of this is true, we have $1 billion company. It's a nice story. It's a really beautiful story. And I'm a sales guy, so I think like, okay, the story I can apply, right? So I went out and sell this device to everybody who I met, basically, and I just tried to talk about things that I didn't have a clue, but it was interesting. So people started buying, right? They started buying into this, and so I thought, okay, that's cool. Okay, we have a product, we have a story. It's interesting. Maybe a month or 2 later, first of all, I was using the 𝗕𝗃𝗃 on myself. And things shifted in my world. Not like, don't get me wrong. It's not like you need this device in order to fix you, in order to heal or something. We don't even want to use the term healing, because it's also dangerous in the way what we are trying to do. But it's preventing. It's creating awareness for yourself that you maybe didn't have before, because there is so much shit in our energy field and so much blockages that we do not have access to the source. So 𝗕𝗃𝗃 made you will make you understand, if you don't use it yet, that you're an energy field with a body and not just a body. And this energy field is containing a lot of stuff over the years, and traumas and cords and all these things. And when you start using energy, it's clearing up this energy field. Okay, and then you start becoming more aware, because nobody knows you better than you know yourself. No doctor knows you better than you know yourself, and this is the beauty about it. So when you start becoming aware and know what's good for you and who's good for you and who not, suddenly things are shifting. Suddenly you allowed yourself to listen to your heart and follow the right way. And 2 months later, then the first testimonials came. And now we have a group, we can talk about this later, with over 70,000 people, tens of thousands of testimonials after 3 years, showing the most amazing transformations, the most amazing stories. It's like, it's heartwarming. Like you look at this, you think like, unbelievable. And my first testimonial was a lady in Thailand who came in with diabetes. She had a lack of diabetes, and they said like, we need to cut that leg. That's not my testimonial, so I'm not even continue the story. But you can imagine, 𝗕𝗃𝗃 after this one, I thought like, wow, what's this? This is absolutely amazing. What has happened, this is absolutely amazing. And what we have is not only 1% maybe true. This is the full truth. So everything shifted. the whole intention of like making money and trying to get something from people is like completely shifted, because I understood we have something that is truly helping, that's truly impacting humanity in a such profound and more amazing and beautiful way than you can imagine. Because it's not just something we give to somebody and this person feels better, it is something where we give to somebody and this person becomes powerful. Because it makes you realize who you truly are. It makes you understand what is actually behind all this intuition, your heart and so forth, right? So it's so beautiful that it's our mission, you know? It's just like, it's so amazing to have a tool which we also call the Trojan horse of spirituality, because it doesn't matter if you, it's a medical device in some areas, right? About migraine, depression, chronic pain and so forth. In Germany, I mean, you know, Germans, right? I'm from Germany. They are very pragmatic, you know, they need to know stuff. So they use it because I have migraine, I'm stressed and this and this. They use it. 1 month later, I come back and I talk with you about consciousness, about different dimensions of human existence and stuff. You don't believe, why is this happening? So suddenly people start asking new questions they haven't asked before, and they get new answers they didn't get before. So it's really amazing to see the transformation. So the mission is really not about just one person or the other person. It's about everybody. It's about raising the vibration of the planet with a simple tool. There are a million ways, guys, to raise vibration, you know, but this little tool is something everybody can do. And that's why it's so amazing. So maybe into the presentation before people like blah, blah, blah.
Anyway, as Max said, you know, we obviously came together because we really aligned with the vision that 𝗕𝗏 was. And then, of course, this mission, which is to create revolutionary products that really help to really empower people. And that's what we really believe 𝗕𝗏 is. By the way, what you have in your hands, if you have one already, is 𝗕𝗏, like the first version of it. Where we are today, and we already know because we've got to sneak peek into the future of where 𝗕𝗏 is going, is phenomenal. Absolutely blows my mind at where we are going, even in the next like 12 months. Next slide. That's just to keep you awake. We tried to turn it off.
That was actually perfect timing when you changed.
I'll time it. Okay. We've already done our introductions, but obviously, you know, that's me, and then the next person is Matt.
Bing. Oh, no, that's Sarah.
You look later. Yeah, you look different. Matt. We'll bring you up.
That's me.
So stay. Okay,
That's
so what we're obviously talking about is this incredible device here, and it's what has been so amazing about it is this like journey of constant learning. I think it was Alex that said it's this constant layer upon layer upon layer. We've now been with 𝗕𝗏. Max has been like just over 3 years, and I'm just over 2.5 years. And it's still every day. There's still new things that we are really learning about this device and seeing what it can do and where it's really going. So, you know, it was Nikola Tesla that famously said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And what I love about this is we really get to the real source of where everything comes from. And I think I didn't tell you in my intro slide, I've been inside of the space of health and wellness and medicine for 20 years. And we all know that we kind of have these different layers of that space. To be able to actually get to the real source of where all of these things ultimately manifest from, that's what I think is so really incredible about our beautiful device. Now, we know that science has proven now that the universe and everything in it, you, me, this chair, absolutely everything that's in existence is made up of pure energy and has a frequency. It's the fact that we can get to that, again, we can get to that source point is what makes 𝗕𝗏 so remarkable. Of course, it can be hard to conceptualize that we are made up of pure energy because we feel like this like solid matter when you feel us or when you feel a table. So just to kind of break it down for you, the human body comprises of 9 different systems. Can you do this bit? Would you love that?
Okay.
No?
Maybe I do one and you do one.
Okay.
You know? So first of all, everything you can touch is your tissues and organs, right? When you break this down,
We've got cells.
when we break those down, there's coming molecules.
And we break those down, we've got atoms.
When you break those down, there's subatomic particles.
And then we get to that space of energy, frequency, and information. And you know, again, I think sometimes it can be hard, again, to conceptualize what is energy, frequency and vibration. And it was actually in a visit to 𝗕𝗏𝗃𝗃, and I'm sure if you have a healing, many of you know who he is, and we will introduce you to him in a moment. But it was in visiting him and asking him, what is energy and what is frequency? Like, what actually is it? And he's like, well, energy is just kind of like this chaotic force, and frequency is information. The merging of those two things coming together is what creates matter. So if you can think about it, it's almost like the chaotic, woman and the information of that sort of more stable male coming together and creating that. And that's what the energy and frequency is when it comes together. Ultimately, it's just information. It's just information. And so the fact that we can then recode that information, again, is what makes 𝗕𝗏𝗃𝗃 so amazing.
So 𝗕𝗏𝗃 does have not only the ability to analyze, and I think Alex was explaining about this before. She was checking, and then there was lungs and immune system, lungs and immune system. So it's basically you put it into your hand and it's scanning your bioenergetic field, and it's kind of analyzing what is most relevant for you. And there are a bunch of programs and a bunch of homeopathic remedies, a database of thousands of different remedies, basically, and 𝗕𝗏𝗃 is telling you what is most relevant for you. So it's analyzing you. Also, when you start a program, it's analyzing you right now in real time, and then it's delivering to you frequencies that you need right now the most. And this is why it's so special, because there might be devices, and this technology is frequency it's since Nikola Tesla, it's around like 120 years or so. And people understand since this time already, there are certain frequencies that are really good for you, some of them. But we are all different, we are all energy, so some are good for us and some maybe don't do anything for us. So what the analysis does is it's selecting out of this spectrum of frequencies. For example, we start a program called Energy. And in this energy program are 400 different frequencies where the medical advisory board, so there's a whole bunch of people, therapists, doctors, they're working with frequencies since decades, and they understand what kind of frequencies are really energizing you, what is good for your cells, increasing the ATP, mentally activate you, and so forth. So 400 frequencies are in these programs. Now the 𝗕𝗏𝗃 starts, and it's analyzing you, and then it picks just the right frequencies out of this program, maybe 10, 15, that you need the most right now. And then it sends it to you until you're saturated with this frequency. So when she's using the energy program and I use it at the same time with my 𝗕𝗏𝗃, our sets and our combinations of frequencies are completely individual. And that's why it's working basically for everybody, because we're all different. And that's what makes 𝗕𝗏𝗃 so special, because it's not only delivering, but it's also analyzing at the same time. And what you see here basically is the range of programs, right? There's 1.1 million different frequencies where 𝗕𝗏𝗃 is analyzing from. Of course, not in every program is 1.1 million frequencies, but there is a selected range of frequencies. In the sleeping program, there is a selected range of frequencies that therapists and doctors know these are put you to sleep better, make you sleep better, longer, deeper, and so forth. And then it will take from this program the frequencies that you need the most right now. And basically, it is like that. Whatever you want to support in your life, however you want to improve yourself, just choose the frequency program you need or want. So sometimes we choose it intuitively. You go through the program and see like, oh, I'm a little bit tired, choose activation. Sometimes you can use the scan as well. Like the higher range products, they have a scan ability, and then you can actually let 𝗕𝗏𝗃 choose for you those programs, right?
And I think sometimes as well, people might often say, well, what's the difference of this, of something else? There's other frequency things out there, and there are other frequency devices out there, but there's nothing like this one. And the reason being is that we have this 10,000,001 frequencies. There's a collection of frequencies that have been collected over the last 20 years by 2,500 different practitioners. Plus we have this quantum sensor. It's that quantum sensor that makes every single application unique to you. Every single time you're using it, in every single moment, it's unique to that particular moment of time for you. So that's what makes 𝗕𝗏𝗃𝗃 so unique.
And it's application-based, of course. This is also one of the things we're going to talk about when we see 𝗕𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗃. 𝗕𝗏𝗃𝗃, the founder, is actually the founder of 𝗕𝗹𝗆 as well. 𝗕𝗹𝗆 is the leading frequency technology device in the space of frequency devices, and it's out there since 15, 16 years meanwhile. And 𝗕𝗹𝗆 is a big device, like looks almost like a computer, but you need to see a therapist in order to get the frequency session. So, and that has been so amazing for the last 15 years. The idea came up, how can this be more accessible? For example, we got stuck in Bali over COVID, as you heard at the beginning a little bit. And if we want frequency therapy, you cannot find it there. But if you have a device like this, now instead of a therapist, you have an application, you can choose your program, you're portable. You can do it everywhere, right? And this company is now meanwhile in 45 different countries. So that's why it's like, it's so amazing to share because it's accessible for the people.
And literally like 300 different programs, because everything has a frequency. So once you have the code of that, you can literally create a program for literally anything that you might be holding you back in any way. There's literally a program for. We never know which slide each of us are going to do.
Because she's doing the presentation.
I guess the thing that, from all of my experience that I've had over the last 20 years of working in this space, was to come across a device that had the ability to scan and analyze and deliver. So it's not often that you have a tool in which you're able to actually,
just looking for the aircon, it's like warm in here.
In which you're able to actually, you know, analyze what's going on in the body, but then deliver back the solution.
No.
But then to be able to have a tool that has the ability to look at you as a complete whole person, looks at you, your mental, your emotional, your physical, your relationships, your productivity. It looks at you as everything that makes you up to be the human being that you are, not just your blood pressure or just some other biomarker. We are so much more than just a couple of numbers. We're such holistic beings. What I love about 𝗕𝗃 is that it is such a holistic device. It looks at us in how we interact with the world, not just what we are made up genetically, or, you know, it just really is a very holistic device.
Yeah, and then on top of this one, it's really also relationship and community. You know, if you ask yourself why you're here, you're not just here because you're looking for the next business opportunity. You're here because you hear there's something going on with energy, something with consciousness, and so forth, right? So it's basically the whole community of 𝗕𝗃, you know, 400,000 something plus people or whatever using 𝗕𝗃 now, and it feels like with them we can talk this kind of language, right? And it's really amazing to actually meet those people and you have this deeper conversation. So the community we see with 𝗕𝗃, I mean, it's really unique community. Because you have people that want to share, they want to understand more, they want to learn more about this aspect about energy. So I think this is one of the most amazing effects about community. Because again, what is 𝗕𝗃 like? We're just having one of the first devices in the world that is actually tapping into your energy field, analyzing you and so forth, and it's your interface with the information field for the first time. And it's already so powerful, but where can this technology be in 5 years or in 10 years? Because we're just getting started, right? And this is also the interesting thing, because we're pioneering something that we have no idea where it actually can go. But if you think about it, where we already now have this ability, and Alex was, you know, demonstrating it a little bit before with what she said, that she like sent frequencies over the distance to people and to herself, and she could feel it. Like, what is this? Like, this is crazy, and we can already do it. So where can this be in 5 years? Where can this be in 10 years? And that's really the exciting part about it.
You know, there's also lots of science, and I know lots of people will stand up, but there's lots of science and lots of things. But, you know, we have a whole entire medical advisory board, numerous scientists. I think the next slide shows you numerous scientists as well. There's a lot of science that surrounds this product, but you certainly don't have to be a scientist to be able to share this product or use this product. And, you know, that's one of the things that we really like to make really clear is that, yes, we've got like all of these incredible medical professionals. We've got obviously 𝗕𝗏𝗃, who we're about to introduce you to, all of these beautiful, incredible minds that are behind 𝗕𝗃, but you don't have to be a quantum physicist to share 𝗕𝗃. You just have to understand that this is something that helps people. It's something that really helps, you know, interacts really well with our human body. Like even here, the fact that we're using microcurrent. This is one of the reasons, by the way, that we have the medical clearance in so many different areas, because microcurrent is so incredible for the human body. It puts us into a healing state, essentially. So we put ourselves into a healing state, and then we have the frequencies over the top of that.
Maybe we can demonstrate quickly about microcurrent. So I see you're using microcurrent right now, right? Can you explain what you feel when you use a program with microcurrent?
When I put it high, I can feel
Tingling.
the tingling, yeah.
Yeah.
But I usually do it in 55%. So.
And can you show how you use it? Right now, you use it on your wrist, right? The cable goes to your wrist. So
in my sleeves.
Exactly. So she's basically attaching the cables to her wrist, and then the frequency with microcurrent goes into your body. And you can feel every frequency. You know, like for example, 4 hertz is a frequency, and this means the frequency goes up and down 4 times per second. So she feels 4 impulses per second. Then it shifts to 10,955 hertz. The frequency is so small and so fast, you don't even feel it anymore. You know, then it shifts back to 200, and now you feel 200 impulses. And this is microcurrent paired with the frequencies. So frequencies have a meaning for you. A frequency does something to you. The microcurrent has a physical effect, and this is all proven studies. With the microcurrent, you increase your ATP by up to 500%. So ATP is the energy in your cell. So you can imagine this: the cell is a car, and the ATP is the fuel you put in the car. Now you have 500% more fuel in your car, so the car runs faster, longer, and so forth. So you have much more energy in your cell, and this is a physical benefit, right? And you have all the other benefits. You pair up with the right frequency, and this is where the magic is happening. But then, of course, you can also use the 𝗕𝗃𝗏 without the cables. And you put it in your hand, and then you scan yourself, and then you vibrate homeopathic remedies, information of homeopathic remedies into your information field. I hope that makes sense. I mean, probably it's very hard to comprehend, but what is homeopathy? It's nothing else than information. If you think about it, like there's the Bach flower remedies, for example. Anybody heard about the Bach flower remedies before? So what is this? It's a flower that carries an information that is good for your mental and emotional state. And there was one guy who found out about this. So then he takes that flower and he makes it dissolve into water. Now the information is in that water. And from that water, he can even dilute this water in 100 liters of more water. And he takes a drop out of it and puts it on a sugar pill. Now you take that sugar pill, and the information is with you. There is nothing else on that pill than the information of that flower. It's just a frequency. It's just an information. So 𝗕𝗃𝗏 has the database of all these informations in there. All these frequencies are saved in 𝗕𝗃𝗏. Now, when you make a scan, it can analyze you and find out what of these buffalo remedies are most relevant for you. When you then play those and vibrate those buffalo remedies information into your information field, it's basically a very similar effect, because now you get the information but broadcasted through the information field into your field. So sounds like absolute something. Maybe it's very hard to comprehend. It took me probably until today I don't understand it, to be honest. but I have seen it over and over again, and especially during the time of COVID, where we stuck at Bali. Also Sarah was there, and we created these communities online, and there were people separated from families, friends, and so forth, and everybody went through fear and loss of, and fear of loss and so forth, and other problems. So they started using 𝗕𝗃𝗏, and they started vibrating frequencies around the globe, basically, to other people. And the testimonials that came in, I remember there was one story from that couple who live in Kansas or something like this, in America, and they had horses. And they started scanning the horses with the buffalo remedies, and the horses were not with them, but they were in a different part of America. And the guy who took care of the horses, he saw the horses while the frequencies were running from the buffaloes coming together and put their heads together, stuff like that. And it's like so many incredible testimonials, where you cannot say it's not possible, but if you see and experience it, it's possible, and this is very powerful. So this and so much more is like basically 𝗕𝗃𝗏. Then we have another way, the coil. If I would know where my 𝗕𝗃𝗏 is, then I could show you the coil also. The coil, we have a package here. A coil is something you plug in the end, on the backside of the 𝗕𝗃𝗏. And it's also not microcurrent, and it's also not the frequency broadcasting through the information field, but it actually is a vector field 0-point technology, which you tap in there in the back. And the cool thing is you don't need to run around with these cables all the time. I mean, the cables have this effect, but the coil doesn't have the physical effect, but it has an impact actually in your physical body. And if you're very sensitive to energy, you can actually feel something going on. But it does have a complete different effect than the broadcasting frequencies to the space, and a different effect to the microcurrent. Which one is better or worse, you cannot tell, because they all fulfill different purposes. So these are the three ways of applying 𝗕𝗃𝗏, basically, or frequencies to you. Is this my 𝗕𝗃𝗏? No. Thank you.
You want to talk to this one? Yeah. Is there any Alex, did you have anyone else who was sharing?
Testimonials.
Yeah.
Hey, all of the 𝗕𝗃𝗏 users here, can you share testimonials? Thank you. Can you
An
stand up?
accidentally one.
That everybody can see you. Thank you. Please give it a little bit of a hand. Thank you.
I have hay fever, and when the hay fever season started, I was dripping nose, and I have this 𝗕𝗃𝗏. It's an old one from
First generation.
the first generation, and I thought, oh my God, I have 𝗕𝗃𝗏, and I have the allergy programs, and this spring I used it for the first time because it went worse. It was really annoying. So I went allergies, 3 sorts of allergies of all the programs I have, all the allergies I took, and from the gold, the proper programs, letting go and pure. What did happen was also that my hay fever went down, But an accidentally one, I have allergy for cheese and milk. And I'm very fond of very, very young cheese. It only exists in June. And you have the grass, that's called grass cheese, translated.
Fresh.
Very fresh. But the fresher, the younger the cheese, the more my nose drops. And I want a piece like this because I'm very fat. And after a few hours, I thought, hey, I'm missing something. And I tested it at night, took a same piece, ate it. Nothing happened. Not in the night, 6 hours afterwards, not 9 hours afterwards, and not 12 hours afterwards. Nothing happened at all. And a little piece the next day, nothing happened. So it's gone. Never thought about it. It's gone.
Amazing.
Now you can eat cheese.
No, I'm not eating cheese. Yes, I ate my cheese, but very old one. And that's now I can eat young cheese.
Super, thank you. Anybody else would like to share? Like anybody of the healing users? Yeah? Oh, please, thank you. Give it up. Thank you.
I have a very special cat. It's a whole story. No, it's just it's a cat that I saved. I found her in November, and I saved her life using 𝗕𝗃𝗃. Not just 𝗕𝗃𝗃, but she was really dying. And one of the things I did was I used 𝗕𝗃𝗃 on her. But the story I can tell, it's a concrete story. It's just recently that her energy was she's better now, but her energy was going down again. And I thought, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? And she was in the corner, there was no energy in her. And I asked her, okay, what is this? Can you show me? What do you need? Can I help you? And then she vanished. She was like disappeared. And I went looking for her. And she was in the corner trying to pee. And then I understood, okay, you have a bladder infection. And I thought, oh, okay, now what? Because we recently had these holidays, Pentecost, it's Pinksteren. So it was that weekend, there was no doctor available. And I know that a bladder infection, you have to follow it up. And, oh, if I have to go to a doctor now, it's going to cost me a lot of money. And I don't want to do that. And so what can I do? Okay, use the 𝗕𝗃𝗃𝗃. And I did an analysis on her. And bladder came out, so okay, I gave her the frequency of the bladder, and one time I ran.
How did you give it?
In the aura, with the resonance.
Okay,
yes.
in the field, yeah.
Yes.
So without the cables, without the
Yes.
coil, just like vibrating, yeah.
Well, I did use in the past. I did use the coil on her, and I just strapped it around her. So. But in this case, it was with a resonance application. Just one time, and it was better. And I did use it again a few days, and she cured just with those frequencies. Yeah.
Super. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, it's actually interesting because the ones who receive the most benefits from 𝗕𝗃𝗃 are actually animals and little kids. Just because of the simple reason they don't have the programming and the limiting belief as we have, because we always say like something unconsciously is an intention that blocks it, you know. So if we actually opening up for this kind of healing remedies and so forth, it has a much more beautiful effect on us, right? And this is also actually very, very interesting. I had a meeting last weekend with a doctor who's conducting a lot of surveys and studies now for 𝗕𝗃𝗃, and he said like we do have a really big responsibility, because what the people are doing is like a little bit of a self-diagnosis, right? You're using it, and then suddenly kidney is coming out, you know, as a program, and it says like kidney is really relevant for you. And you say, shit, like what? My kidney? I have a problem with my kidney, right? So you run the kidney program, say, I have a problem with my kidney, I have a problem. So now you have the nocebo effect, kind of, right? Could be. So he said, like, actually, it's very important that no matter what comes out, you have the right intention. Right? You understand how amazing, powerful the law of intent is, that you do not manifest something into your life which could be a negative effect. Not that it's a negative effect, but it will be much stronger. So when you have something like the kidney in Chinese medicine, it's the center of fear and worry. So you say to yourself, oh, I'm increasing my willpower. I'm increasing my willpower. And you run that program, right? It has a powerful effect on you. So it's just like to override your limiting belief that something might be wrong with you, which is not. It's never wrong. It's just something to be harmonized and balanced. So it's actually understanding how powerful intention, because again, she said it before, everything is vibrating frequencies and particles and so forth. So is your intention. And the law of intention is very, very important. Do we have another testimony? Yes, please. Please give it up. Great one.
When my daughter went to Vietnam a few years ago, I was like, "Oh, my baby is going abroad, and what happens when something is wrong with her?" So I bought a gold version for her because I think it's some kind of first aid device you have with you all the time. So at that time she has the gold, and there was something with her, so I made a scan. I was on the other side of the world, and I gave her a treatment for a few minutes, and then she was apping me, "Mom, what are you doing? I feel tingling in my back." I said, "Oh, I'm giving you a treatment." So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. I supported her like that, and now she has a resonance herself, so she can manage all the things herself. So yeah, and there are a lot of amazing stuff happening. So yeah, the people who don't have such a device, if you can afford it, please do.
Thank you.
It's an amazing device to travel with. We obviously travel a lot, and when you travel through all different time zones and all kinds of sleeping patterns, so it's an incredible device to have with you, particularly when you're traveling a lot. Is there anyone else before I bring Sarah?
Oh yes, Sarah. But no, nice. We have animals, we have mental, and we have physical. Exactly.
We have joy.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
similar as you. I got to know 𝗕𝗏𝗏 through my sister-in-law who lives in Australia, in Perth. And I was having a candida in my intestine for over 8 months. So last year she told me, "Okay, I got to know this device." And I said, "What is it?" "Oh, it's frequency therapy." "Okay, if you want, I can give it to you." So, "How can you do it? You're in Australia. I'm here in the Netherlands. Okay, let's give it a try. I have nothing to lose. Let's give it a try." So in 2 weeks of removed frequency for 20 minutes every day, I was completely healed. And I said, "How can this be?" So then, of course, few days after, I bought my 𝗕𝗏𝗏 and the resonance, and I use it ever since. And it's really amazing. I mean, what can do and what has been doing also the months after the others, it was really fantastic. So
Super.
that's
Thank
fantastic.
you so much. Thank you.
For those of you that don't know, this is the lovely, beautiful 𝗓𝗏 Blacker, who was also locked down in Bali with the three of us. So I think that must have been, I don't know, divine intervention or something, where we all ended up in Bali the weekend that everything got locked down, and that's where we stayed. But Sarah has a beautiful story to share, but I think one of the other parts that is beautiful is how you really integrated it, because obviously Sarah, well, obviously many of you might not know, Sarah is a women's leadership coach plus an intuitive coach. Her vision really is to help people to live with more joy, and as you might have seen in the yeah, as you might have seen in our vision, that's also part of 𝗕𝗏𝗏's vision as well. Oh yes, yeah, it's amazing for sleep. Yeah. So do you wanna share your story a little bit, and then maybe a bit about, well, you know what to do.
Thanks. Okay, cool. It's so nice to be in this room with you all, and like my favorite bit is the bit we just had where we hear stories of like really what it does in people's lives, and I'm going to share my story in a moment. But before I do, who in this room is in the wellness industry or energy healing space? Who likes helping people? No, I don't like that. No, I don't. I know we're in the right space here. Who has
themselves or knows someone they love that has had struggle with mental and emotional health? A few of you? You've either personally or you know someone close who's had mental and emotional health challenges. Awesome. So it's funny that Taryn says my mission now is kind of about joy, and actually I have a podcast because I got nicknamed Siren of Joy, but my story really 2.5 years, 3 years ago before 𝗕𝗃 was siren of depression, really. I was a coach at the time, so I've been in the wellness space about 15 years, very passionate about helping people improve and optimize their health. Who actually has tried, who likes to delve in and try all the things in health and wellness? Nutrition, meditation, a lot, yeah, okay, cool. So I was one of those people, always trying different things. And I was baffled when I found myself about 2.5, 3 years ago with quite a chronic hormone imbalance, which meant my mental and emotional health was really compromised. So I would feel very depressive, anxious, very fatigued, couldn't really think clearly. And so it was very hard to run my business at the time because I had no energy. And in this position, and also I had big dreams and visions that because of my health were going unfulfilled. And so that was also kind of on a soul level quite painful, I guess. So I really hit a point where I was trying all the things and I was getting down the pathway of going down the medical route. Doctors obviously give you one kind of solution that I didn't want to take. So I hit a point where I'm trying all the things and I was really kind of praying for a solution that aligns with my values and was holistic. Then in comes fairy frequency angel Taryn Lee, who's been a good friend of mine. We've done many things together in the wellness industry over the last 15, 16 years. And she showed me this little device, which is 𝗕𝗃, which many of you are holding. And because we'd always envisaged and spoke about what if there was a way that people could really be empowered to understand what was happening in their body on all the levels, because we were seeing many people, myself included, going around in circles with all these different aspects of wellness. So I saw the little device, intuitively was like, there's something to this. And then as I started to work with it, in the coming weeks and months, my hormones started to balance and my mental and emotional health was coming back into balance. And I felt like myself again. I got my energy back. And then I got excited about life again. So I started going on this Australian tour, which is where I first met Max, brother, sister. We all kind of got stuck in Bali. But on this tour, I started to share my story. But what was blowing me away, similar to what we've heard today, I'm in this room and I'm seeing and hearing these stories of people, different stories, but same kind of thing where they tried a lot of different things, but nothing was really shifting their health back into balance and optimization. And so as I'm hearing these stories, I'm like, right, I'm all in here. So I then built a beautiful business, which you'll hear more about later, but I started sharing it with people I cared about, started building this incredible community, and went on to have my biggest financial months, well exceeding my coaching business, and then got to live in Bali for the last 2.5 years, and now travel around the world and do what I love and, make a far bigger impact than I was just in my coaching business. So that's a bit of an all-round health transformation, but also lifestyle. And I think that is something else that I realized is our mental and emotional well-being. When I was just sitting at home on my laptop building my coaching empire, I also felt disconnected. And like Max said, to come and be part of and I still do coaching as well, but to be plugged into this community was another important part of my emotional well-being. And then having really stable income coming in is another part of wellness. So I've really had this much broader perspective of what wellness is. And now I get super excited to share that full spectrum of what 𝗕𝗃 is with people. And that's why the first part is more the health and the product. And then later we're going to go into this beautiful community and business vehicle. So that's voila, the story. And then I think
You can do the rest now.
oh, okay. They're retired. I'm just going to carry on. Do you want to talk about Marcus? Go ahead. Okay. They're we're relaxing now. We're in the camping chairs. We don't want to do anything more. Okay, so this is actually, I'm excited to talk about Marcus because similar to you, I've been in these rooms, I've seen this presentation many times, but recently, a few weeks ago, I actually got to meet Marcus, and it went from like a nice slide and he sounds like a genius and a cool guy to like feeling his presence when he speaks. I would nearly cry every time I heard him speak, because he really does come from this maybe different planet, but this different consciousness where he's very much about service, and he is the founder and inventor of 𝗕𝗹𝗶𝗀, which is what Max was talking about before, this big, expensive technology that was using frequencies but only through health practitioners. So it started there, and then he had the download from whatever planet he's from, that he needed to make it into like a more accessible, personalized version so people could have it in their homes. And now the mission is how many? 100 million. His vision is to get this in 100 million homes because of the stories you're hearing. It's like, you know, and the home is really, if we can bring healing into the home and everyone's empowered, then that's how you change the frequency and the consciousness of the planet. So he's written many books. He's obviously a quantum physicist. What's very interesting about him is he really went deeply into spirituality. He became a monk for 12 years. He was a genius when he was very young, but went deep into, I mean, you don't become a monk for 12 years if you're half interested to understand consciousness. You know, he's an all-in kind of guy. So he became a monk, but then he's deep in quantum science as well, and is well regarded all around the world. Founder of the Institute of Consciousness Research in Europe. So he's very well known, written all the books. But what he's about is how do we bridge consciousness, spirituality, and science, and that's where we have this little healing device. Yeah, like we said, wanted to make it accessible. And then this is 𝗕𝗃𝗃𝗃. Max, do you want to talk about him?
I think you're doing a great job.
I didn't realize I was casting the whole presentation. Right. 𝗕𝗃𝗃𝗃, another very interesting character. I haven't met him in person, though I hear very fascinating things about him. Multi-billionaire entrepreneur. He did what I'm sure most of us all wish we did, was got in cryptocurrency very, very early on. And yeah, founder of super hedge fund, but he's got plenty of money basically. But his real passion, which I love, is he's here to invest in the like sustainable things that move our planet forward. So he's heavily invested in green projects, vegan chain Michelin restaurants, and frequencies, because him and Marcus met in a few very synchronistic ways on their journey. And then he was really the full financial backer of 𝗕𝗃𝗃𝗃, which is beautiful to know when you're aligning and partnering with a company that you know, the funds are coming from someone who's very heavily invested in the purpose and intention of healing and bringing healing frequencies to the planet.
Super.
So why 𝗕𝗃𝗃? Why now, Max? Or do you want to? Let's all jump in.
Thank you, Sarah.
Where are you going?
Well, I don't know.
You're going the wrong way.
Okay, wait. Sorry. Go for it.
Why 𝗕𝗃𝗃𝗃? Why now? Particularly, I guess, over the last 2.5 years, we've seen an interesting shift on the planet. We've seen people become more awakened in many ways, and maybe some of them became less. We saw people that once thought that their jobs were very secure have to, you know, come to the realization that that was not true security. We saw people, you know, looking to alternative ways to support their body, support their families, support those most in need. We also saw people who were very passionate about freedom, creating their own freedom, their own financial freedom, their own freedom within their bodies. I don't think it's by accident that 𝗕𝗃𝗃𝗃 happened to arrive on the planet just before this period of time. There is no accidents, really, are there? The universe has that nice little way of doing that. So why 𝗕𝗃𝗃𝗃, why now? Is because I truly do believe that now more than ever, we need these technologies. Now more than ever, we need to find new ways to help people heal themselves, empower their homes, empower their families. Not give away our power to somebody else, but contain it within ourselves and within our family. And I think that that's true whether it's about your health, or it's about your wealth, or it's about your community. So that's why, for me, I truly believe why 𝗕𝗃𝗃𝗃, why now? Why for you, Max?
besides all the things you just said.
I mean, that's covered most of them, really.
I can tell you what really excites me. This one is something we're testing right now. It's the 𝗕𝗃𝗃𝗃. It's the next generation. It's nothing to do. It's not the same. Like it's not the 𝗃𝗃𝗃2. It's the 𝗕𝗃𝗃𝗃. It's a magnetic. It creates magnetic frequencies. It's with magnetic technology, and it has different effects. But this is one of the points what excites me so much is because we're just getting started with this technology. You know, and as I said before, it's like, when did we ever can look into our information field and start balancing and harmonizing on a completely holistic level? Because energy is the most fundamental form of life. And now finally we have a device which taps into this area, right? And again, I don't know where the journey is going, but whatever we do right now is pioneering, you know, and you have to also know, for everybody who's not having a 𝗃𝗃𝗃 and start using a 𝗃𝗃𝗃, eventually, maybe hopefully after this event, you will have a lot of questions, you know, but it's all experience. You have to understand what's happening right now is people experiencing this for the first time. So we have these communities and collections of, it's almost like a lexicon of people experiencing something and then sharing it with the world. Because there's no protocol to it that is right or wrong. We're looking into the quantum field, right? And this is, it's a really amazing way of looking at things, because we're looking at it holistically, and we have to understand how important intuition is and the feeling. You know, sometimes you use a program just by feeling like this is the right thing for you, and then boom, you get the benefits. It's amazing. And the more you practice this one, the better you get. You know, when, for example, oftentimes when we do scans and aura scans, there's also a program that you can call somebody, scan somebody's aura or your aura, and your 7 chakras, and you see the blockages, and it shows you there's something from your childhood with your father that's blocking your throat chakra. That's why you can't speak up and express yourself in certain areas. And you think like, how the heck is this possible? How is this coming to me? You know? And the crazy thing is, in the beginning when you start scanning, it's okay, you know, it's like you don't know exactly, but suddenly you're getting better, and the more often you do it, you become better, and you become better, and you start becoming very good actually in holistically like observing yourself and healing yourself in this, and this is amazing. So it gives the power back, and that's why I think it's so important, because you said it, and we humans are very good. We learn from history nothing. You know, the only thing we learn from history is we don't know anything. We don't learn anything from history, right? So a year back, or not even 10 months back, everybody was locked up and stuff like this, and now we go on football games and everybody's hugging and forgetting, and then there's the next bullshit coming. Like, it's always going like this, and people are just like, eh. It's like, it's all about creating our power and understanding this, and this is why it's so important. What we did in Bali was people just completely understood how depending they are on a system, how depending they are on their jobs and their governments, on a doctor, on knowledge from somebody else. And suddenly they got kicked out of the space of the comfort zone and say like, shit, you know, I actually am about to lose a lot of things. So 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 came into many lives and gave them back their power, and they started being able to share it to people. So it gives them independence of making business, of sharing it. So it's a complete new paradigm of seeing things, you know. And I'm not saying 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 is the only thing out there. You know, there's a lot of things, but it's a beautiful tool to really gain our power back and share it with the people and create independency, financial freedom, freedom of location, which I believe is so important. And it's going all from this big area where we're right now, and it splits eventually in smaller communities. And community is one of the most important things right now, as you said it before too, you know, because this is where we eventually, because we're too depending on a system, on all the things. And I don't know, it goes far into philosophy right now, but that's why 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 is so important. That's why I believe it's the right time now. Besides, we have Dr. Joe Dispenza. Who knows Dr. Joe Dispenza? You know, Dr. Joe Dispenza is so famous right now, and Bruce Lipton and all these amazing people. And there's a device coming in the same. This needs to show you there is an all consciousness where people just like downloading stuff, and at the same time they're coming out with this knowledge. So the time is now, right? The time is now to tap into it. And I'm not a quantum physicist. I will never be smart as Marcus, but I can use my phone and run these frequencies on me, and I'm happy to do so. And I can speak a lot of things about it. So I'm using this little talent, you know, to go out and share it. And I think this is amazing. You know, for a lot of people, it's amazing. And, sorry, I continue. It allows, you know, I'm looking at like every day we have these talks, you know, about people not doing what they love to do, you know, because you're not following your heart, you're not in your genius. Sarah's always saying this, you need to find your genius, you know. And it's actually every single one of you guys has a genius. You have a talent, right? In that you are very good. And if you're in this state, you're in your flow state, and you're in your highest vibration, and things are just happening, no matter what it be, you know, it's for everybody it's different. And healing gives you the opportunity to actually plug your genius into a community. You know, you don't need to be a speaker or a presenter or a salesperson. You just, if you love to do it, you just like to care of people. And if you like that, you have space in healing. You know, so it doesn't matter whatever you want to be. Healing gives you a space for being that person, because it's never you going to be alone. It's a community of people, right? And that's the beautiful thing. It's like, and we have in this room, we have all talents covered on this universe, basically. You know, but you need to understand what is your genius, and then you step into your genius and you love doing what you love, and this is how you become most resourceful and get the most back. So, and Healy as a technology lets you find that out, what it is, you know, but you become more aware, and the business model lets you be plugged into an opportunity, into a community where you can do the things you love, and that's why Healy comes.
Do you think Max's genius might be speaking without breathing?
I breathe one time.
And excitement. No, enthusiasm is one of your geniuses.
Yes, I'm enthusiastic. So how to start? How to start, Aaron?
How do you start? Well,
I've been doing this now.
how did you start?
I was enthusiastic and I just started. I don't know.
I just did.
Oh yeah.
Somebody
First I used it.
introduced you to Healy, right?
No, yeah, I found it myself on the internet.
Yeah.
Oh, and then yeah, it came on my timeline. I don't know why. But and then I used it, and it was great. So I told everyone. Yeah. And that's how it works.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything else. I think.
Just get a Healy.
Just get it easy.
That is it. That's how you start. Ultimately, you start this journey by simply getting a Healy.
Yeah.
Whether you come across it online or whether it's because your next door neighbor said something or your doctor or whoever, you start, because somehow Healy comes into your world. And again, I don't think it's by accident. I think almost every single person that is within inside of our community will say, in one way or another, I either prayed for it or I manifested it, or I knew it just came to me at the right time. When I saw it, I knew. And so, and who else had that experience as well? That you knew, you kind of prayed for it, you manifested it.
You manifested
Just-
Healy.
We all believe that we did, and we all did, right? But that's ultimately how you start. And so we'll just quickly go through the different models that we have within these. Would you like to do that? Sure.
Let's throw around the deep end. Well, there's the Healy Gold, which is, so basically the hardware is all the same. The little device that you've seen is all the same, but it's the software and the programs that is different. So the Healy Gold is more the basic model, which just has the incredible, powerful gold frequency programs on it. Then you've got the Healy Resonance, which,
Plus.
oh, that's another
That's a plus.
plus.
The plus is
That's the
there.
star.
Where? Oh, there's the plus. I just was looking for the words. So this is actually like the, what do we call it? The love child of healing. So this is actually the one that most people get started on, which has the ability to do the scan analyze. As you've heard through many stories, the scan analyze is one of the most powerful aspects, both for just your own self-awareness of what is happening in your body, but also it has a huge range. Do we have the programs up anyway?
Yeah.
Go to the next slide maybe, then I'll talk about the professional, my favorite to talk about.
Battery's low.
Oh, we'll skip over to the next one. So that was the gold. So the plus, there's the plus I was looking for, has a lot more of the programs. So it's got the gold, which are the incredible bioenergetic support, mental balance, meridians 1 and 2, chronic pain, the Healy Advisor, Healy Search, the Healy Resonance, plus these ones here, which sleep, I know you were asking about sleep, fitness, you like that one, don't you, Max? Power of 3, bioenergetic 1 and 2. So it's got a lot of the very powerful programs, and it's one that most people get started on because it's obviously incredible. We're going to talk about the promo that's on.
Next slide.
Next one.
But these are
Next
all,
slide, because we're running out of battery.
oh,
Go.
yeah.
Hurry up. And then this is obviously my favorite and what all of us have, which is the professional model. Now, why this one is so cool is it's got scan analyze functions. It's got more programs in here as well. Skin, bioenergetic defense, power of 3, which is incredible. But this is probably one of my favorite things, especially being a coach, but just anyone who's into helping people achieve goals and intentions in life, this program, you can actually put in an intention that you're working on in any area, relationship, wealth, healing, health, happiness, whatever. You put an intention and it will show you the unconscious patterns that are blocking you and in the way of that goal, which is incredible. Not only that, okay, good. It's okay, guys, we're still going. And not only does it help you identify that, which in itself, the research shows, as soon as you're aware of those blocks, they start to shift because you're aware, but then coupling with running the frequencies, the research, I can't remember what the stats were, but there was this huge significant, what's the word I'm looking for? Behavior change when people use this working with a goal compared to those that didn't. And so that's where this gets super exciting, because I'm sure everyone in this room are people that, you know, have things they're aspiring towards in life. So to be able to work with this tool, it's probably one of my favorite aspects of the whole Healy thing. So that's in the professional model. And then 3 ways to get started. I'm just going to keep going because I'm on a roll. So you can be a customer, which is how many people start. They just, like, what was your name, sorry? Miriam. So Miriam started, researched online, started using the Healy, loved it. So she was a customer, loved it, got a lot of benefit from it, and then probably started to think, oh, this person, which I'm sure many of you in this room are having these names drop in of like, oh, okay. So she started to share it with loved ones, probably started to create some nice little income coming in. And then, so you may be a customer, you might want to share it with loved ones, or you may have been excited about what we're talking about here today. You may be like, oh, I'm seeing that there's opportunity to make more impact. There's opportunity to create an additional income stream. There's an opportunity to be part of an incredible community of people that kind of think like I do and want to really create shifts in the planet at this time. And if that's you, then we, after this session, are actually going to go more into the leadership and business side of it, which is part that I'm really, really excited about because it opens up a whole new set of possibilities. And promo. I feel like one of those. We have a 50% off promo. No, there's a promo at the moment where you get 50% off the Healy Resonance Plus, which is the really great one to get started on. And
by the way, there's not plus tax. I think it's like tax is already included in this price.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's already.
It keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, amazing.
Next slide.
So
So there's
half
this
price
half price
until
for the
end of the
resonance.
month. This one is half price.
Yeah.
The company comes sometimes with promotion. So
And this they've also just brought in for June, which is an activation bonus.
by the way, there's another promo missing. I'm so sorry to interrupt.
No. We're
This
just going
one
to talk
here.
about these two.
This one here is also half price at the moment.
Oh, there you go.
The professional. So the professional is the one with
So if you-
everything, and it's actually half price. It's €2,000, and you get a coil also for free. This is the coil here I was talking about before.
Yeah.
It's like a €250 usually. So this is like basically top of the
So if
range.
you're thinking of like, if you get excited about this kind of stuff, then that is also part of the promo. Good one, Max. Oh, we're all over the place. So 50% off this one and the professional. Next slide. This is also really cool because if you are someone who knows you've got other people in your life that are praying for this, manifesting this, ready for this, and you share it with 3 people, you get an extra €400 bonus on top of, which we're going to talk about more in the second session or now? In
The second session.
In the second session, but there's also, when you share it with 3, you can get like €2,000 in commissions and bonuses. Oh, go next slide. We're on a roll, so we'll just keep going. So very quickly, we'll go into more detail after the break, but by sharing it with 3 people, you not only get the €400 cash bonus, but you also get about €1,675 in bonuses or commissions for sharing it with people. Sharing is caring, as Max always says. So it's not bad from just getting a Healy, sharing it with people that you know are looking for this, receiving a beautiful income stream, and you also get a free Healy. So once you have your Healy, you will not really feel that great about giving it out. I've done it several times because you see people and you're like, oh, borrow my Healy, and then you miss it. So by having a free device that you can share out and lend out to people or give to people in your household, so they don't steal yours, is really powerful. So that's a pretty amazing way to get started. We're going to go into this more in the second part, but we just want to let everybody know because there's so many beautiful things on offer this month, basically. I think that's it. Is there anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I guess really just how do you start? I mean, somebody obviously invited you to this room, or you found it online, or however you found it here. You simply ask them for their link. Getting started is like no different to anything else we now buy online. You just go into get their link, pop it in, off you go, and get started. But keep going. How do I share? We will go into this in a moment, but this is where we do have this amazing community. We have lots and lots of resources to help you. Because I know in the very beginning, you could be like, I don't even know where I would start. Who would I, that might be that kind of feeling. We have all of these training programs, all of these systems, all of these events, all of these bits and pieces. Like we're in the middle of a roadshow right now, going around all of Europe. You might have somebody in London where we go to, or Zurich, or wherever, and you just have to invite them into the room here. So we have lots of bits and pieces on offer. Right, next. But this I just want to leave you with, because once you make a decision, the universe conspires to make it happen. I've seen so many people's lives significantly shift from a perspective of whether their health or wellness or their financial wellness as well, because they made the decision. Don't worry so much about how it's all going to happen. If you just make that decision, the rest of it will just happen. So, yeah.
Super. And then I would say we have a break, right? For like 10-15 minutes or so. And then whoever wants to know more about the business, please come in here later. And then we have also some Healy giveaways. So for the people who stay then after the break.
Alex, did you want to talk about the...
Maybe you just close this one.
We also have an astrologer coming in. She normally lives in Ibiza, but she's coming here to speak about the Age of Aquarius and like how this technology is relevant now, specifically now in time. So she's just coming in now, right, like after the break. And we have a couple of surprises and giveaways as well. So yeah, we have 10-minute break where you can, like, there's water and coffee outside, and then you can come back in and we continue.
And if you've got any questions, come and chat.
Cool. It's actually people live on it.
Yeah, you can say hi.
Hi. Bonjour. Bonjour.
We have.
It's such a bad accent. But yeah, you keep it saved on YouTube.
Sorry? Yeah.
Start again. So yeah.
What program you are?
Okay, so this is transitioning now into the business section. We thought that we would actually, in some parts, just tell you a little bit more maybe about how we built businesses, but also give you the opportunity to speak with each of us in a panel here. So obviously you've got Max. Now Max is actually one of the very, very original people ever to have a 𝗕𝗃𝗃 and be part of the business. Like up there as one of the most successful, at the top 3 most successful in all of 𝗕𝗃𝗃. So I think he has
more luck than brain. Probably.
No, but he's got some really incredible gifts that he shares. But I think one of the things that Max is so good at as being is an example of someone that doesn't necessarily need to know everything. Over his journey, he's certainly learnt a lot because
if I can do it, everybody can.
Yeah.
That's the example. Like the guy outside, he asked me everything about quantum physics, electromagnetic waves. I don't know. Like, then he left. I said, okay, sorry, I couldn't answer him. But it's like, it's not about these things, you know, it's about what you see. But anyway, finish first and then whatever.
And Max, now, how many? You must have
Like
hundreds of thousands of people in your
not
organization.
100, like 180,000.
Wow. 180,000 people inside of Max's organization. So like a huge amount. And, you know, making incredible money, making more than most people ever make in a year. He makes in a month. So just by sharing this. So that is what is really.
Oh, they like me for my money. I don't know. No.
So again, if he can do it.
Exactly. How did this happen? I don't know. Okay.
Well, how it happened is really Max got excited about it and started sharing it. And it's as simple as that. He's 3 years into his journey. Some of you might be a year or less. Some of you might be 3 weeks or 3 months or 3 days, or today might be the beginning of your journey. But Max's journey started somewhere. And this is where it has ended up 3 and a bit years later, simply because he got excited about it and shared it. You can probably tell, you know, Max just gets excited about 𝗕𝗃𝗃 and shares with a lot of passion. And that, again, is one of his great gifts with it. Then we have 𝗕𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃. You've obviously heard about her story as well. She's been very successful in integrating her passions and her passions and her joy with this business. She's obviously was a coach. I can say that now because, you know, she was, and still is a coach, but really integrates that into a business as well. She also earns as much as some people do in a whole year in 1 month. So again, you know, super life-changing for you too, right? And again, she just shared, and she shares from a space of her gifts as well. And then Alex, which is really the reason we're all here today. Someone said to me, why did you come to Brussels? And
Why not?
yeah, why not? And really, it's because we had made the commitment, you build it, we will come. Which is, you know, Alex said, okay, I will put on an event. I will fill up a room full of excited people, like-minded people that want to learn more about healing. So you are all here because ultimately Alex took the initiative to want to create that. And so just really appreciative of you. So yeah, we can. Yeah. I don't know, this is the first time you've ever done this kind of business model as well, but very successful coach in her own right. But what has been really beautiful with Alex is she's so coachable. Like she actually listens to, you know, what we say to implement, goes ahead and does it. And this here is testament to already the beginning journeys of someone who I have no doubt in her 3.5-year journey will be sitting in the same seat as Max is. So, who are you?
But who are you exactly?
I don't know. I just wandered in. My name is 𝗕𝗹𝗏𝗾. I'm the global ambassador to 𝗕𝗃𝗃. I was very fortunate to get hold of this device 2.5 years ago. Fell totally in love with it. Fell in love with the mission of it, and saw it. At the time, it was really being marketed much more as a medical device, and I saw something beyond that. I saw that it could be something that could build communities as well. It was something that, you know, health practitioners to healers to conscious entrepreneurs could really get behind this and create a movement on the planet. And so that's what we started when I very first started and opened up Australia. And I don't know even how many. I think I've got like 70,000 people under me now. So that was my journey 2 or so years ago from when I kicked off. Each of us build in kind of different ways and also kind of similar ways. So you can sort of ask questions around things like, you know, how we build, some of top 3, you know, tips and tricks to the trade. I would say the number one thing all of us have that is in common is just being passionate about it. I didn't know everything about 𝗕𝗃𝗃. I still don't know everything about the science. I still don't know everything necessarily about the business. I just know that I'm here to help to light up people along the way, and I use 𝗕𝗃𝗃 to do that. So, yeah. Right. What do you want to share? Maybe as your first few tips and tricks of the trade. Now you've got 180,000 people under you.
Yeah, well, first of all, understanding everything is energy, I think is a good one. Understanding that you're energy, right? And what I feel like is really working is to be 100% convinced about what you are doing, you know, because the person who's most convinced will always influence the other person. So it's a good idea, and this is really, we are in a business model which has a lot of stigma, you know, network marketing also, you know, like it's a very powerful model. If you have a bad intention with a bad product, it can create a lot of damage. If you have a great product with a great intention, it can create wonderful, wonderful things. So to be convinced about what you're doing is very important. And I just make you a few examples. I mean, we have a product. It's a product business. You know, there are a lot of businesses, they go out and they want to generate more money and more money. This one is really about sharing the product. And you see this event, like, and I had a discussion outside with the person who just left about the 𝗕𝗃𝗃𝗃, how it actually works, and he thinks it's analyzing and measuring us, and I say it's not, you know, and it's actually, we could have also come here and describe the 𝗕𝗃𝗃 as an MP3 player to feel good, you know. No matter what you want to support in life, no matter how you want to improve yourself, just choose the program, whatever it is, it makes you feel better, you know, that's it. Boom, we can duplicate it. But the reality is, everybody who's using 𝗕𝗃𝗃𝗃 wants to go way deeper than this, you know, because it creates a sense of awareness and it creates a sense of so many things out there. So the product is very important. And I believe if you truly grasp and understand this product and want to understand more, your excitement is very easily to read. So you got to be convinced, and you have to be careful of how you do it. I'll make you an example. Like, there's something that we call the aura scan. So we can scan people's aura, you know, with the 𝗕𝗃𝗃𝗃. So you put it in somebody's hand, and then that person will be scanned, and it tells you everything about your past and blockages and the energy field. It's really amazing, right? And there was this one girl, Diana. from Bali, and she was fascinated, but there is one thing you need to do when you do an aura scan is taking a picture. And she was like asking me like, hey, why do you have to take a picture of me? Why you put it there in the system? What's happening with my picture? Where is my big data? Where is it going? What's going on? And she was like really concerned about this picture. And I was like confused because nobody asked me this question. I think like, okay, I don't know. I just needed to make a clear intention that this is you. It's like your phone number. I cannot just leave a 0 out of your phone number. It needs to be your phone number, right? So in order to have my clear, and she said, okay. She was not really happy with it, but then the scan was amazing. She was like blown away by what's happening, and she got a Healy, and she went out, right? And something that has never happened to me. Now she went out and shared Healy, and she was good at it, but every time she went out sharing it and started doing a scan, guess what? The person always asked her, why do I need to take a picture? So what you have to understand is you are a mirror. Your reality is a mirror of your own intention, of what's inside of you. So if you doubt the product, if you doubt yourself, it will reflect back on you. And this is the #1 lesson, I believe, is like, get behind this product, get excited about, understand the mission. And we've been talking about so much about the mission, right? It's not about you or me or anybody. If it's good for you, don't be selfish, go out and share it to more people because it's so good for so many people. If you shut up and because of you, somebody else get done. And this is really one of the things, you need to, we had so many wonderful experiences by sharing this device. And sometimes it's like, I share this device to you, right? And you have like, yeah, you're a young person, everything is cool for you, you prevent yourself, you feel good, but it's like, it's good, but you share it then to her, and you share it to her, and you share it, and you share it, and you share it to her. And she has whatever, we had a beautiful example of a child in LA. We met this lady and she had an autism kid, with autism. And she comes to us with tears in her eyes and says like, hey, thank you so much for what you do. Because of this device, my kids started communicating with me, and then you start like, oh shit, what's happening? And it's because I opened my mouth and I went out sharing, and sometimes you don't see the results from the beginning, but down the line, it's because of you, so you have an obligation, you have a responsibility, and this is what you have to believe on. And when you clearly understand how important it is what you're actually doing, forget about the money is a very nice thing in the beginning, right? Direct commission, you make 400 euro here, this and this. It's motivating, it's inspiring. But the mission of what we are doing, what we're trying to achieve, it's inspiring. It's like, and this is speaking from us. This is the energy you might feel. It's like, I talk a lot of bullshit, but at the end of the day, you don't remember what I said, but you remember how you feel when you listen to me. Because I speak from my heart. This is what we do, right? So #1 thing is believe in it, know what you're doing, and give this intention to the people. Because the person who's most convinced will always influence the other person. My #1.
And you really only have to be convinced that you're here to do some good on the planet. That's really, you don't have to be super convinced of every part of the science or whatever of the actual product. You just have to be convinced that you're here in service, knowing that, as Max said, somewhere along the line, you're going to help someone who helps someone who helps someone. And that's all you really, truly have to know. Sarah, what's your biggest takeaways?
I know what my answer is here. Mine is vision. So anyone who comes into this, or I'm sure every single one of you in this room has a vision on your heart for what you would love to create in your own life. I'm sure you really have beautiful lives, but above and beyond, I feel like we all get given visions in our heart that we're here to bring to life. And not only individually, like we have personal visions, but then there's more of a collective vision. So we've already heard Healy's vision of, really creating revolutionary products and impact and more joy and all the beautiful things that the vision and the mission represented. So people that come into this space tend to have their own personal vision of what they'd love and align with the bigger collective vision of Healy and what we're all trying to create. And so myself, when I first came into this, I got clear on what the vision was for. I actually got clear on my vision before, and I had no idea how I was going to do it. It seemed very far removed from where I was at the beginning, when I'm not feeling well and I'm back home living with my parents because I don't feel well and all that kind of stuff. But I had visions of buying land in Bali and like being in a community with incredible people, making big impact, traveling the world. It was so far removed from where I was at that time that I got inspired by this vision. And then Healy came in as the how. as the vehicle with the mentoring, the community, the business model that bridged that gap and allowed me to now be living in that reality. And you know, our vision evolves, and there's more things in life that I would love. And now, so whenever anyone comes into my business, or there's people I know that, you know, want more out of life, like that's a common thing with the people that I want. They might want more health, better energy, more vitality, but I listen to people and I ask them, like, I see where there's a gap for them, whether it is their health or whether it is they've got big visions or they would love another income stream, passive income stream or residual income to be at home with their families. Or I had a beautiful story of one of the women in my team. She found 𝗕𝗃, she'd been praying for it, and her husband basically got put in a position where he had to compromise his values in a certain way. We don't need to have that conversation too much, but yeah, to keep his job, he had to compromise his values, and he didn't want to do that. And so he lost his job, and she's pregnant with a baby and her family, separated from her husband because he's having to now move somewhere else to try and get work. And they're just in this absolute dead-end position that they don't want to be in. And then she saw 𝗕𝗃 online, and it answered, you know, their own, you know, they were very stressed, so it answered some of their initial health, mental and emotional prayers and challenges. But then that vehicle has now meant that they started earning an income stream. They've been able to relocate off the grid on a farm, which was their vision, and raise their family in the way that they want to, while have a business and a pathway now to, you know, have the husband stay at home. So that's just one example of one of the biggest things that I'm doing, is I'm looking for people with a vision or a gap, whether it's a vision for their health, their family's health, or the life that they would love to live and that feels good to them. And then I show them how 𝗕𝗃 can support them bring that to life. And so I'm really big on spending time with people to really hear, because if people think I've got to do it like Max or Tara, or, you know, but when you show people how they can do it in a way that feels good to them, that leverages their genius, like Max talked about, and can actually tangibly bring their visions of health or freedom or whatever it is to life, people will naturally be inspired to, you know, learn the business, or, you know, plug into the tools, get on the training calls, and like Taryn said, you don't need to know the how, but that vision is what is going to fuel you and inspire you to show up and you know, do the things. So yeah, I'm big on vision. And I just want to add to this, actually. Oh, I got excited. I did a vision session with Allergies when she first came into the business, and we saw her, like, she was new to like actually doing the business, and we were like traveling around the world with friends and like running events and speaking at events, and you know, she's like in the vision that we saw for her already, and that's only like 3 months ago that we did that. So it's beautiful when you actually see people bring it to life. Yeah. Do you want to carry?
Yeah. And I'm gonna link to Kara as well, which is she's gonna say something about astrology and the Aquarian Age and so on and so forth. So for me, like, I connected to 𝗕𝗃 last year, and so through this health journey that I was on, etc., then I started using it in my business, and I kept on having in these meditations, I kept on getting this message of like, yes, your vision is coming, you're gonna make it happen, but it's not through your current path, it's not through your current coaching business, so there's something else. And I was very frustrated when I was getting this intuition, but it's not like, it's nice, but there's something else coming. And then I kind of was introduced to 𝗕𝗃. Immediately I was very kind of enthusiastic about it and fascinated and so on. And at the same time, I'm very passionate about astrology. So in my own natal chart, in an astrological chart, I have this North Node in Aquarius. So I'm meant to go towards this Aquarian energy that is, you know, connecting people and just working towards a higher good, basically. And in my coaching business, it's working really well. It's been 4.5 years. I have hundreds of clients around the world. It's just, we have all kinds of programs. There's a team. It's a global company. It's working very well. It's been financing everything in my life for this past 4.5 years. But it's like me, myself, and I, right? Even if I have a team, for me, it was starting to feel like just too narrow and I was missing this kind of Aquarian bigger collective energy, so to speak, right, to connect with other people and so on. And so 𝗕𝗃𝗃 came in. I look up the astrological chart of all my businesses. So my 𝗕𝗃𝗃 business is all air, is Aquarius, it's like all very airy energy, and I'm fire, so it's like really helping basically the energy of fire. And so for me, it's really refreshing, the whole like 𝗕𝗃𝗃 business. It was very refreshing to build it, to build a team around it. I have a team in Spain, for example, now with 16 men in Spain that are building, you know, the 𝗕𝗃𝗃 business, and it's just so refreshing outside of my coaching business to just switch and just spread 𝗕𝗃𝗃 and build the teams, and just I'm coaching but in a different way basically, and it's a whole other energy. Now we are doing an event in Barcelona with them, so it's just a whole other dimension that is perfectly complementing what I was already doing, that I'm doing both and there's space for both. And for me, it's just like really expanding everything else that I was building, right? So it's not like either or, it just adds a whole layer to it that for me, it feels very refreshing and airy, and just connecting to a lot of other people that I wouldn't connect to in my business, so in my coaching business. So yeah, I feel it's the beginning only, and I'm really excited for what's to come. So, yeah. Yeah.
So, do you want to bring up Bill?
Yeah, we have 𝗂𝗃𝗃 that is gonna we're gonna have like a 10-15 minutes talk about astrology. So she's going to tell us about the Aquarian Age, and 𝗂𝗃𝗃 is normally based in Ibiza until like recently, and now you were in France, I think, earlier today, and then you came today here to the event. So it's just, I'm really happy that you made it. You know, it was really like fine. And we connected recently, the two of us, and so I thought it was perfect to have like a kind of like a higher level contextualization of 𝗕𝗃𝗃 and why it makes sense to develop businesses such as 𝗕𝗃𝗃 nowadays with the Aquarian Age that we're in. And 𝗂𝗃𝗃 is going to tell us about that with the Aquarian lens, and then we're going to come back to the 𝗕𝗃𝗃. Yeah.
Beautiful. Hi everyone, my name is 𝗂𝗃𝗃. I am originally from Belgium, but I spent actually most of my time in Cape Town in South Africa. Does anyone know South Africa? Yes. All right, it's beautiful. So I'm so glad I made it. I just came from a training in France, so I hurried my ass off to be here on time. So yeah, I feel very honored to be here today. So I work as an evolutionary astrologer and a spiritual guide, and I just want to check in, like, what is your level of understanding of astrology? Is it like beginner, or raise your hands, or like, yeah, beginner, a little bit, yeah. Like beginner is intermediate, expert. Okay, just so like a little bit. Other people who have no clue what astrology is about, raise your hand. That's amazing. I love that. Okay, great. So I work as an evolutionary astrologer, where it's all about looking at the evolution of someone's soul. So I look at the spiritual evolution and the karmic debts. And for that, I do use the lunar nodes, just as Alex just said, that her north node is in Aquarius. I look at that because I find it so interesting to look at like where we come from as souls, you know, where we come from like past lifetimes. And that is connected to our shadow state, right? So this is our comfort zone, and we're being invited to let go of that comfort zone. And we're spending like the first 30 years of our lifetime in that comfort zone. So right after the Saturn return hits, which is about like 29 years and a half, there's like a shift in consciousness. There's a shift in awareness. And then we're actually growing more towards the north node energy. Does anyone know their north node? No? Yeah, you do? What's your north node?
Aquarius.
Aquarius as well. Amazing. I love that. I love Aquarius.
Aquarius is that?
Also Aquarius? Okay. And Aquarius, yeah. My north node is in Virgo in the 6th house. So I came up here back to this lifetime to become a healer, right? So yeah, I do notice like a shift with my clients right after the Saturn return, because there's just like something more serious happens in their lives. You know, they're just like asking questions of like, okay, who am I now? Right? I've seen like all this time of like how my parents were operating, and now I'm like at this certain age, but like, what do I want? You know, it's like a time where we are taking more responsibility and gaining more emotional maturity. And that is usually when we're like, you know, like if we have the level of awareness, because that's really important in astrology, you must know that everything depends on your level of consciousness, and you always have free will. So you decide what you want to manifest in your life, right? So I can't decide that for you. But what I do love about my job is that I bring things into consciousness. So I kind of see it as a tool for shadow work, you know, bringing the unconscious to consciousness, you know, having that little aha moment of like, oh, okay, it makes so much sense. And I always say that astrology is also kind of a reflection of your intuition. Right? So nothing that I say or tell my clients is meant to shock you. It's actually here to empower you. And that's why I see astrology as a tool for self-empowerment, to empower ourselves, and also a tool for self-mastery. So eventually we can grow towards more self-acceptance and more self-love. And I'm all about the self-love journey because I'm a Leo sun. I'm a Leo sun, I'm a Capricorn moon, and I'm a Pisces rising. So my 3 big pillars in life are: the Leo energy is leadership and creativity. The Capricorn is business. I love making money. I love doing business. And the Pisces energy is spirituality. So I merge like all of these qualities together. And that is like my unique gifts that I share with the world. Make sense? Yeah. Do you know your big tree? Your sun, moon? Yeah, you do?
Yeah, mine is double Sagittarian.
Okay, nice.
Sun and moon.
Ooh, so you were born under a new moon.
Yeah, but it's there's a little twist in it because my the other side is Virgo.
Okay. I see it as a gift. So you have
Yeah.
like all these different energies in your chart. Yeah, you can work them with them and implement them.
Someone said to me who discovered it for me, so reading my sign and everything, said, "Oh, that's why you're so explosive."
Now we know why.
Now we know why.
It all makes sense now. Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, so it's like about like getting more awareness, right? So this is my biggest passion with astrology, is really helping people to expand their consciousness. You know, like I love creating these spaces in my retreats and in my one-on-one, you know, with my clients, to like create these spaces, safe spaces where people can expand their consciousness, where they can heal, where they can grow, and really step into their highest potential, because that is what the North Node essentially represents. It's like our highest potential, it's our biggest growth in life, and it's also something that we feel the most resistance towards, especially the first 30 years of our lives. And it's kind of like a pendulum. We're going from one side to the other side, and it's like, oh, it's exhausting. Like even for me, I notice it on a daily basis. Like sometimes I'm in a Pisces now, Saturn, and then other times I'm in a Virgo North Node. And it's just like, my message, I think, with this is like, when we are operating in our North Node energy, everything is going to be in alignment. When everything is in alignment, everything is in flow. Have you noticed that? Like when everything is in flow, you're just like, okay, this is meant to be. This is right. Like I'm walking my path. And I also believe that from that space, we're attracting opportunities, people, situations that are in alignment with that. So why I wanted to share this is because I've noticed a huge shift in interest in astrology and in consciousness and awareness. And I noticed more people stepping up and wanting to do the work. You know, I see kind of like a rise in the collective consciousness, especially like for 2 years now, like after the whole crisis started. I don't know if you guys remember, if you were there, if you followed the news. So that brings me to the Age of Aquarius, because I'm not only noticing like on a personal level that there's a shift in consciousness, I also notice it on a collective level. And that is because we are entering a new era, a new age. Now, there's a lot of debates between astrologers of like when exactly the Age of Aquarius has started, right? Was it in 1996? Because that's when the first computer was invented, if I'm not mistaken. Something around that time. And then it was also like that, I think it was in December 2012 when everyone thought that the world was going to die. Do you remember that? Yeah. And then other astrologers assume that it just recently started, like when there was the big conjunction between Saturn and Jupiter in December 2020. Has anyone heard of that conjunction? Yeah. So conjunction is basically when two planets in the sky give each other a kiss, because they're so close to one another. It's like, so, and there's a meaning with that, right? And it was in the archetype of Aquarius. So there was like this big activation of Aquarius or Aquarian energy. Now, what does Aquarius stand for? What keywords come up when you hear Aquarius?
Water.
Water? It's not water. It's an air sign. Oneness? That's more Pisces. Yeah.
Humanity.
Humanity? Yeah, you said it, sorry. Beautiful, yeah. Future. Yeah. Sorry? Evolution. Yes, beautiful. So like what I believe is that we are currently in a transition phase. We're not like fully in the age of Pisces or fully in the age of Aquarius yet. I feel like it's a transition phase. So there's much debate about like when it was, but at the end of the day, I don't think it matters. I think it's really important to like just tune in and see like what is happening and like follow our intuition. And first, I actually want to explain what the age of Pisces represents, so you kind of can see the difference. So when we think about Pisces, a beautiful Pisces energy, you must know that every archetype has its highest expression and lowest expression of like how something can manifest. So when I think of Pisces in the most beautiful way, it is all about oneness, right? It's all about love. It's all about, you know, that divine connection to source, spirit, universe, God, whatever you want to call it. It has taught us a lot about love and compassion, but also about spirituality and religion, you know. And you must know that like each age is about 2,160 years before it is complete. So that was like right before this whole thing happened, right? We were in the age of Pisces. And if you remember back, if you know a bit of history, there was like a big emphasis on religion, right? You know, there was, I see it kind of like as a vertical line where there was someone in power, something or someone outside of us. And I actually find that quite disempowering because we were like bowing for someone else and listening to institutions or religions or the government or whatever. Whereas now, I feel like with the age of Aquarius, we're coming more like on a horizontal line. Can you see that? Mm-hmm. With the like equality, with the rise of like minority groups and like the rise of women. Like how amazing is that, right? Woo! Pure one. So with the age of Pisces, I feel like in the lowest expression, there was like a lot of like manipulation at play. There was a lot of brainwashing. Because that's also Pisces energy. Pisces can be like the guru and like the spiritual leader, like the monk who's like sitting on top of the mountain somewhere. But it can also be like a drug dealer, like on the streets, literally. So it's like very interesting, like how both energies can manifest. And I feel like now with the age of Aquarius, we're moving from like believing in technology and spirituality to going more to like heavy technological things and also science, right? Like especially like with the vaccine that was being invented and all of that. Like the vaccine is actually like the most beautiful example of what the age of Aquarius represents. You know, it was like so rapidly developed and it was revolutionary, really, right? So what else? I could say that Aquarius is also like we see the rise of communities. The fact that we're all together today, right now, you know, the communities on social media, you know, I've made so many friends through social media, like literally all my best friends are through Instagram, and like it's so easy to connect with like-minded people. It kind of makes you feel less alone. Have you noticed that as well? So the rise of communities, the rise of minority groups, of the rise of women, you know, there's more equality, there's more independence. We're fighting for our freedom, which is super beautiful. There's a big emphasis on technology, like I said. And yeah, I also noticed that with the equality part, what is really important is that we rise together as a collective. You know, like when I'm doing the work for myself, I do feel like I'm contributing to society and to the community because this is how we rise together. And yeah, I think it's beautiful, you know, like when I rise, you rise, and we rise together. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
If anyone wants to connect with me, my Instagram handle is 𝗕𝗏𝗄𝗧, so it's 𝗕𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗃. 𝗕𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗃. I have a podcast as well, which is called As Above, So Below. That basically refers to like whatever is happening here on the planet is a reflection of what is happening in the cosmos. So know that the cosmos is never affecting us. You know, you can never blame the full moon that you're a bitch. You know, we're here to take full radical responsibility. It's rather reflecting of like where we're currently at here on the planet, and I think that's beautiful. That is like what brings us more like awareness. Yeah, and from awareness, we, you know, that creates more choice, and then we can start creating or taking more responsibility. And yeah, so does anyone have any questions about that or anything that they want to share?
Which age are we now? Aquarius?
Yeah, we're in the transition phase of the age, from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius.
So it goes backwards.
Yeah, it does.
Why?
Well, it has to do with the astronomy. So I'm not at home in that field because like astronomy and astrology are like two completely different things. Like astrology is based on astronomy, but it's very like science-based with the constellations of like how it's like, it's the mathematics of like what constellation is in the sky in March at the equinox. Yeah. But then it becomes very technical. So I can't help you with that, but I can send you a podcast about it and you can learn all about it. So yeah, but I'm actually like, I study the psychology of things, like understanding the deeper meaning, etc. Yeah, but thank you.
Translation of the.
Sorry?
The translation of astrology.
Yeah.
Right.
You see astrology as a translation of.
No, I'm not saying you're translating
Yeah.
astrology. So.
Yeah, I am.
Sides and then
Yeah.
putting that in words. So that people
Yes, I
understand.
am a translator. That is exactly true. Yeah, that's what I love about my job. It's a symbolic language at the end of the day. So it's like. I grew up with this language when I was 10 years old. My mom was always like speaking to me and like reading my charts and like of my friends, and like I would invite my friends over to our house and then she would just read our charts, and I would just like, I was so fascinated of like how such an abstract tool could know so much about me and about my friends. And it was just like, I knew that astrology was going to be like the love of my life and that I was going to be working with it and help other people find a deep healing medicine. So yeah. Is there any other question?
Yes. What are the low sides of Aquarius? Because you talked about the positive, but what about the reverse?
So the lowest expression of Aquarius? That's a good question. So I'm trying to say this in a polite way. So Aquarius, it's an air sign, and sometimes I feel like Aquarius, like it's can be sometimes like very like a dick. That they can be like, have this idea, I don't know what the English translation is, but that they have this idea of like, oh, I'm better than someone else, you know, and do you recognize it? Yeah. So yeah, this we can go like so much more in depth, but I think I would just leave it with that for now. Yeah, but let's focus on the positive. I think I would say for like the collective, because like I really see the value of that, like that we're all coming up for our rights, you know, the equality, and that everyone gets a voice, and the communities, and I find that so powerful, the community building. Right? Yeah. Thank you for that question. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Max and Sarah and Alex, you want to jump back on to go through more of the business side of things? Okay.
Yeah.
I hurt my leg. That's my leg.
Then you'll have
Yeah, that was a very sort of beautiful, I think, segue into our business, because I do believe that one, 𝗕𝗏𝗃𝗏 is here to help us individually raise our consciousness and vibration, and by doing that, we affect the rest of the planet and humanity. And there was obviously this incredible futuristic technology. I often actually think of 𝗕𝗏𝗃𝗏 as ancient wisdom inside of future technology that we get to use right here, right now, today. So I think that 𝗕𝗏𝗃𝗏 really is, in every way, a kind of symbol of the age of Aquarius in terms of what it's really representing and trying to really help humanity really become more empowered, very freedom-based style of business as well. And so it's perfect to have you here to talk about that. I'm also Aquarian. Max is Pisces, you're Capricorn. You are Leo.
Spirituality.
Right. Aquarius.
Drug dealer. Nice. Yeah, but back to it's actually so beautiful to talk about business. You know, the way we talk about business is about good intentions and all these things. And there's another thing I think what Sarah always you be talking about. It's very important to define your values. You know, like the question actually asking like, what are your 3 highest values in this life, and that can guide you actually to, you know, what do you want out of life, you know, and feel in if this is the right opportunity or not. Maybe Sarah, you can speak a little bit about how important the importance of creating or defining your values.
Yeah, for sure. Like there's some, you know, it's something that I actually check in with like frequently is my values, because they do change over time. I know one of my highest ones at the moment is relationship, and this is a relationship business. So when you know your own values, you can really tailor the business to support those values. So we have a lot of people that come in and family is a high value for them. They want to be more present, more at home, have a business that allows them to be with their kids. They can do that. And for Taryn, she has a very high value on freedom and travel and making things beautiful, which is why all our presentations look fabulous, because she really values beauty. And so when you know what's important to you, know what your values are, you can really create the business in alignment with those values. And like you were sharing, like when you're in alignment, that's when it works for you. So yeah, I think there's, I mean, assuming you have a value on wellness or business or freedom, you know, you can really find a way to do it in a way that feels good. And then when it's in line with you, that's when you also have a lot of success. And the other thing is when you have your vision and your values, that's when you'll also attract people that are similar to you. And that's also when it becomes very fun. That's one thing we need to talk about a bit more, is like, it's very fun building this business, would you say? Like it doesn't often, most of the, you know, there's things like every business, but most of the time you get to have a lot of fun when you do it in a way that is, you know, works for you.
Yeah, in alignment with your values. And we pinch ourselves all the time. We're like, really? This is what we get to do? And it's so much fun. We get paid so well to do it. And what I love is it's just so available to everyone. So I think that might be a good place to start. I'm curious, how many of you in here have had a H/L for over a year? Okay, over 6 months. Ooh, that's the magic sign. What about 3 months and under?
3 months and under.
Yeah, under 3 months. Who's under 3 months? 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Who still doesn't have a H/L?
Who's buying one today?
ABC, always close.
Awesome. Well, it looks like that the best way that we can serve you, because most of the people in this room are relatively new. Either they don't have a H/L or they're relatively new to maybe this business or the community, etc. So the best way that we could really serve you is how to really get started and how to really very quickly create your return on investment back to you, so that once you have it, you've got your H/L. Yes, it's an investment, but really it's a small investment to be able to have such an amazing lifestyle and to be able to be able to impact people in so many ways that you can't even imagine. But I think it's really important that we can get you back to a place where it's almost like no investment, and then building on
Everything's a
top of that.
bonus.
Yeah, everything becomes a bonus after that. So who would be excited to learn more about that? Yeah, awesome. All right.
Everyone excited. I know. Now you gotta.
Yeah, we have
Look at the goods.
here with a link, so and we have computers as well. So you know, there's already people that were purchasing a H/L in the break actually, and so we are a few with a computer, and a few of us, so Camille and Christine and I and maybe Natalie as well. We all have like a link for you to actually purchase one.
Yeah.
And you also have like 14 days, so you can purchase it, and if you are not happy with it, you can always send it back and get a full reimbursement within 14 days. So most people, I mean, it feels very safe to order it, and then nobody sends it back. But you know, just so you know, there's this option exists.
So actually, that 14 days is great because you get to play with it.
Yeah.
You know, you get to play with it, you get to see what it's like, you get to use it on your pets and your family and your plant and whatever else you want to use it on, and you get that whole 14 days. And if for whatever reason, I mean, again, rarely happens, but if for whatever reason you're like, I don't want this to be part of my life, then you can send it back to Healy, no questions asked, but you've got 14 days to play with it, which I think is really cool.
And we have a whole community that supports. So we really take it seriously to support people when they receive the Healy, to actually show them. We have all kinds of videos and explanations and Telegram and WhatsApp groups where we explain like how to really use it best at the beginning to see the effects and questions that you might have. Everything is just, you have a whole beautiful community basically around it.
You can do a little demonstration for the aula for something how it works, it's feeling, because the person who
yeah, they want to see like a little bit of a test of a scan. Several people asked me.
Okay, well, we could do a live one.
Yeah.
Is everyone okay if this goes a little bit over then? What's the time?
It's we have 52.
Like 5 minutes. Yeah. Is everyone wants to
We can do
see?
one scan.
Yeah, we could do a scan, and then we could just quickly go into like how you can fast start. Cool. Are you gonna choose a live guinea pig?
Who would like to get a scan?
So many people.
You picked Sarah?
Oh, intuitive abilities on. I mean, it has to be you. It has to be you. Yeah. Who's gonna do it? You wanna do it first? Max?
Our
I don't. My
My head is empty.
At least you wanna do it.
I can do it.
Yeah, you should. Okay, there you go. Sit on this seat.
What do you want to scan? Alex? The aura? Or program?
We can do the chakras. Yeah.
So we'll just explain what's happening because you can't really see what's happening right here. So in the very beginning, Alex is going to create a client profile. And in that client profile is going to be a photograph, as well as some information like your name and where you were born, etc. Why do we have that? Because it's helping the information field identify who you are. So there might be other Max Glockners out there, and so you don't want to just put Max Glockner and then, they're picking up somebody else. They want to make sure it's this Max Glockner. So that's why that information is in there. Again, just keep remembering, everything is information. Your picture is information. So everything is just information, and we're just connecting to the information field. So she's putting that in there right now. And then in a moment, she's going to actually take the Healy, put it in her right hand, and then it's actually going to record her vibration, her unique blueprint in the information field. So that then becomes now her, I guess, unique signature, if you like.
And when she's running the scan, it's normally a very personal kind of scan. Sorry, what's your name?
𝗕𝗃𝗏.
So Sigo, when you read it, and when you feel like sharing it, you can share it. You don't need to share it. Some of the things maybe is like it depends, but it's always like, because we catching is intention, right? So it's also now the intention of everybody is basically in that scan as well. So which is quite interesting. So we don't want to see anything that is uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah. So other thing is, when there's so many Healys in the room, it's like, which Healy am I connecting to? You've got to work out which is her Healy. I tell you a funny story. I was just at a party in Portugal before we came here, and I had my Healy on because I basically wear it everywhere. I literally always put it on my hip, on my pants or my skirt, whatever. I'm always wearing it because people are then always asking me, "What is that?" Because it's it's an odd looking thing. Like, what is that? So at this party, this guy comes up to me and he starts chatting and he's like, "What is that?" And I kind of told him a little bit about what it was, and then later he came up and he's like, "Could you do a scan on me?" And I said, okay, no worries. So do a scan on him, and I did the aura scan, which is what's happening right now, and did that. And he was one of these people that was kind of like not really, like kind of believing, but not really believing about it. Anyway, so do the scan on him, and it comes up. And actually, I never really, unless people want me to interpret the results for them, I actually just give my phone to them, and I'll say, look, you can read it here, and then I'll send them the report as well. So once you get it done, you can actually send a report to their email or their WhatsApp as well. Anyway, we're doing it. It comes up, and he's like, okay, I'm not quite sure how to interpret this. So I just read the very first one that came up on his scan, and it talked about needing constant approval from his father his whole life.
Alexis, maybe we explain a little bit what you're doing.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, sorry, yeah. I had to create a profile for her. You can create a profile for an animal, a plant, a building, a person, whatever you want. So I just created a profile for her with her name, date of birth, place of birth, and I recorded her personal vibration, because each one of us, we have a fingerprint that is unique to us, but we also have a unique frequency. So this is what the 𝗕𝗃𝗃 is kind of catching, basically. So it recorded her unique frequency, and then I scanned her chakra levels, which you can do. There's dozens of types of scans. So I scanned that, so it's showing the different levels of the different chakras. I mean, everyone is seeing that.
But there are 7 chakras, and the 𝗕𝗃𝗃 is checking the 3 chakras that are maybe most out of balance and selects them. And then you look into this chakra from all kind of angles, and then it identifies what could it be in this chakra, what maybe is blocking you, or even positive notes. You know, once again, like, there's nothing negative. 𝗕𝗃𝗃 is never showing you anything negative, but there are 2 ways of healing. So what you see right now, the first thing is observation. You know, oftentimes we're not aware consciously about what's going on in our information field. So this gives us the ability to ask a new question, and we get a new answer. You know, something is coming up, and you ask yourself, why is this coming up? You know, by observing and by now thinking and getting an answer, you already have an answer, right? That's the first way of healing. And the second one we can explain when we go through this. So you selected all chakras right now?
Yeah.
Okay. So who's aware about the chakras? Everybody knows chakras here, right? So this one is going into the 7 main chakras.
I have a question.
Yes.
How do you scan a place?
Well, you can take a picture of the place. You can create the address and the coordinates in this place. And it's also about your intention once again, you know. So you can have the date of when you are in this place, for example. And you can clear, there's thing like, have you heard about I Ching? Okay, so with I Ching is an amazing thing to clear energy of places. But it's once again, you know, you set your intention. This is also again with the pictures. You take the picture also to set your intention of that person with dates, so you can really connect to that. But the same thing you can do to plants, buildings, rooms, and whatever.
I had a friend who did a scan on a venue before she was going to run a 𝗕𝗃𝗃 event, and it had been COVID, and so no one had used this space, and they did the scan. It's like this person, room, whatever, feels like lonely and abandoned, and like, because like no one had used this space in like a year or so.
And I've done so many scans at a distance for different clients, and every single scan is different results, very specific different results, right? So it just depends on the profile of the person. So now you have your results.
Max is not going to worry about privacy. Sorry, tell me.
Sacral chakra. Okay. No. So I just want to explain. I mean, for you guys, it's very. But one thing, you know. So the first chakra that comes up for is the root chakra. So it looks into the root chakra. The root chakra usually has a color, right? Sometimes the color is off, so we understand why the color is off. Then it tells you about the present state. This is her temporary state with all your intentions, you know, coming in here, and it says, through their need for harmony in their professional. Can I read this?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Through their need for harmony in their professional life, the person experiences manipulation. Okay, that's in her field right now. Whatever you do in your professional life, maybe you're aware of it or maybe not, but if you think about it, there's some manipulation going on. Okay, and this is a present thing, and this is, you know, getting you out of balance in your root chakra, more or less, right? Then you have a complete description about your root chakra. So the root chakra is shining in the solar plexus, heart chakra, color yellow-green. So actual color should be red, right now for her it's yellow-green, so there's something out of balance. When we talk about the desired state, you want to harmonize all the topics of maternal relationship, or money, home, work, trust in life. So there's a whole text about what you should actually, how your desired state should be in the root chakra, okay? So trust in life, security, survival, fear of strengthening the vibration and fear by strengthening the color, the vibration and the color of red, okay? And then this is very important for you. So this is your affirmation to your present state. In order to get over whatever is manipulating you, you can think about and talk for yourself. I am strong and balanced inside. I cultivate a loving and respectful relationship with my colleagues. Okay, so the first way of healing is right now your present state. Okay, does it make sense to you? Does it resonate with you? If you think about it, now you observe something. Okay, and now through the observation, you get a new question. This one is maybe you have never thought about it, but maybe there is some manipulation going on. Maybe you have some person who is working above you, and he's like bringing you in situations you don't necessarily want to be in, and you don't feel balanced. Is it resonating with you? Okay, interesting. It's the first thing that comes up for you. By the way, we are the professional. You here also because of the business or just of the product?
Both.
Both. Yeah. Okay. So it's a professional thing also as well. So maybe it's a way out for her to come in here and look for new opportunities. Whatever is going. I make this up, right? So. Okay. So this is the first thing, right? And there's a whole description about it. So every chakra will be looked into it, and this is a beautiful thing now. It's an observation. We are living in our program world, and we have no clue what's actually going on until we experience something and ask ourselves a new question. And this tool gives you new questions. You ask yourself new questions, and suddenly you observe, and you think like, that's something I can work on. Now we can go through this, and this is a whole report on all our chakras. And Alex, you selected all chakras, so it's a long report. You can send it as a PDF. You can send it as a PDF. You can read through it also. You can send it as a PDF, but there is another way of also what you can do is now Alex can click vibration. Okay, so basically you have an information. This is what we are doing. This is information field technology. Information field is the quantum field, the ether. You have many, many words for the information field, okay? But what it actually is, it's the universe. And in the information field, you can almost imagine it's a library with all the information in this universe. Okay, how somebody looks like, how something smells, how something feels, every information is in this information field. We don't have access to all the information in the information field. You're only born with your map, your program, right? You see what you see, you hear what you hear, you feel this is your life, your reality. So you have limited access to this information field. You have your information. Now, you get a new information right there, okay? And this is a library, the information field with all the information. When you vibrate these informations into your information field, you can almost think on a subtle level. You go into this library and you take that book with this affirmation that you are balanced and feel respected or whatever, and harmonized and not manipulated. It's a new information for you. So you go in this library, you take that book, you have that information subtle with you. And that's the second part of healing. So it's actually a subtle way of programming. It's almost like when you're a little kid and your parents always say, yes, you can do it. Yes, you can do it. Yes, you can do it. You empower on a subtle level. So it's with you, right? So two ways of healing. One is, can I say healing? Yeah, this is no problem, right? One is the observation itself. Ask yourself a new question. The second one is vibrating in new information into your information field, which is with you now forever, right? So, but I think what is really interesting, there's a way, but you saw already the first chakra, okay? And this is something. There's a level of delusion, there's a lot of values you can see, but this is something it's related to her state at this moment, okay? And you say it's something what is resonating with you. When you go down, you can feel things that are really deep in her subconscious, really, really deep. And these are things that are very personal. If you do this work with somebody alone, it's really emotional sometimes, like especially with women. I feel like sometimes...
No, but even men, because that's what I was about to say.
Sorry, okay.
My story from Portugal was that I read his scan, and he was like so taken back by it. He was like, "This is completely what I'm trying to heal in my life," and he had to go sit in a corner and read this thing. So just maybe don't do them at parties.
Yeah.
No, but it can be quite emotional, and that's why we kind of give it to people, and we'll say, like, you read it, because if I don't know you, then maybe you don't want me to know this information.
And maybe while we just like do the fast start, you can read it.
Yeah.
More of a look through.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe read it through, and then when you finish reading, then let us know a little bit about what's your thoughts.
Change.
No, I mean the information. You see if it's resonating with you.
So that's also, you can see that that was one way that the 𝗕𝗃𝗃 was using frequencies, so it was resonating into her information field. It was sending affirmations, actually, sending information, recoding information in her information field. You might see me sitting up here with this little guy, which has become my new favorite tool. I hurt my leg, that's why I've had it the whole time on my leg. With the new Mag 𝗕𝗃𝗃, that now basically completes that 𝗕𝗃𝗃 can deliver frequencies to the body in every way that you can. So with the whole selection of tools that we have now between this, and if we also add the coil and also the straps, now we are able to deliver frequencies in every way you can deliver the frequencies to the human body. Anyway, I think what would be fun to know, so let's go back to, you want to know how to obviously get your investment back, right, from the 𝗕𝗃𝗃. So we might quickly go through the fast starts. And what that looks like. As you saw in our slides up here, we've got this amazing promotion on at the moment. So the Resonance Plus or the 𝗕𝗃𝗃 Professional at the moment are 50% off, which is obviously like amazing to have that. But we also have, where if you share this with 3 other people, some extra bonuses. Now, if you're in the very beginning stages of your journey, we have this thing called a fast start. And if you share that with 3 other people, you're going to have a whole pile of cash bonuses, plus you're going to get yourself a 𝗕𝗃𝗃, plus you're going to also activate this special June activation bonus that we have as well. So it totals up.
Worked out, it's like €2,000 if, depending on which model you share and sell. That's significant.
Yeah. And just to give you a concrete example in the break, so people were asking about the best promotion right now is the Professional and the coil that normally is €4,000 plus 200 something euros. And right now, especially if you have a VAT number, you can deduct even more. So she got it for 1,600 something.
Whoa.
Yeah, instead of 4,200. So it's really worth it. And we have like access to, like we can help you because the checkout is like relatively, sometimes people have questions around it, but we know how to navigate that. So we can do it now, and you can return it later as well if you're not.
Also, just to add on, I mean, today was a day, it's so much, especially for the new people, there's so much information, right? It's a lot of information. If we explain the business now in a way of how to make money and where's the bonuses and this, it's a lot of more information, right? In the end of the day, it's not as difficult as you imagine. You know, in the end, it's just go out and share it. And there's a way of how commission will be distributed. You know, there's a direct way. You know, there is an organization and team building way. And especially what Taryn just mentioned in the beginning, there's a fast start way. That means you can see it in your back office. You buy yourself a 𝗕𝗃𝗃, you register, and now you can log into your back office. That becomes your workplace, where you see your organization, your friends, and all the download material and so forth that helps you with understanding the 𝗕𝗃𝗃. And there you see a timer for the first 60 days. And if you share a 𝗕𝗃𝗃 in the first 60 days, you get an extra cash on what you anyway would earn. Or you get, depending on how many 𝗕𝗃𝗃s you sell, you get an extra free device and so forth. So you can see this all in the back office. I would not say we go into the detail because it's really so much information, but just let me tell you, it's really straightforward. You see it all in your back office. And the beauty about this business is like you do not need to buy 20 𝗕𝗃𝗃s and store it at home and find out a way how you can ship them to it. We are open in 45 countries. All you need to do is like, hey, you're interested in this one, you send this link, the person buys the link, the company is sending the device, and the commission comes into your back office. So it's very simple and straightforward, and it creates, back to our values, one of my highest values, maybe if the highest value is freedom, and that allows me to be free. So I can choose where I live, with who I work, when I work, how I work. It's up to me, right? And that's beautiful because I don't need to have a store, I don't need to have an office, and so forth. So it's really freedom. And when you come further into your journey, there will be more things that you need to study a little bit because it becomes your business. But at the beginning, you start a journey like the customer. Become a customer. Love the product first. If you do not understand and love the product, don't go out and share it. I'm telling you the truth. Of course, you can. We know people. We have a friend in Bali. She sold over 60 𝗕𝗃𝗃s before she even touched the 𝗕𝗃𝗃. There was just a distance healing goes on for her frequency. She's like, what the? And then she sold 60 𝗕𝗃𝗃s in the first month before she even touched the 𝗕𝗃𝗃. So it's possible. If you feel this, it's okay. If you do not feel this, Go on, buy yourself a Healy, try it for 14 days. If it resonates with you, great. If not, you can send it back. So it's really, there's no push, there's no nothing. Just love this product first, I would say. And when you love it, you have this kind of conviction for yourself. It's easy to share to other people. Invite them to the meetings. Invite them to these communities, what we have. The girls do every week. They do beautiful calls where they speak about the meridians, and they have doctors and therapists, and everybody's talking how to use and apply healing. It's like, this is beautiful. You know, this community is amazing. People come in here, and we resonating really nicely. Online, it's also very beautiful, and it's very easy to make. You know, it's like, invite somebody to a call, and they come in. And then you share the link, and then you start, oh shit, now there's money. Okay, how do I do next? And then you can learn by going. So I think it's really straightforward. First step, we said it before, get a Healy. Get yourself a Healy, try it out 14 days, send it back. If you don't like it, there's no risk. Right? It's amazing. So this is how confident we are, or the company is, with the product. And use this month. I have never seen this kind of promotion yet. You know, once again, the professional is for $2,000 with the €2,000 with the coil. Once again, it's nothing that you use a frequency program. Now you have only 100 left. It's not like this. You have it forever, and you can use it on your mother, your father, your sister, your dog, all the time, every time. Right? It's a product. It's just keeps on going. The professional is wonderful because but it's an overwhelming number of frequencies. If you want to have the deep dive in all this, get it. Other than that, the Resonance Plus, which is normally €2,500, is now half price, €1,250. It's a beautiful device. It has basically everything you need because it has the scanning ability, what we just did. This is the first device which really comes with the aura scan and the resonance scan and all those things. It gives you the full experience of healing, right? If you want to go on top of this, you can go resonance, and there's something they call digital nutrition. Anybody heard about digital nutrition yet? I mean, so there's vitamins, minerals, and all these things, and everything has a frequency, right? So that's what it is. It's digital nutrition, right? So it's a lot of amazing stuff. Plus the coaching, of course. We have the coaching in there. Coaching is, I wouldn't even call it coaching. I call it manifestation amplifier. It's something very special. So if you can afford it, get the professional. If you want to, the gold is amazing. You know, don't get me wrong, the €500 device, but I feel like everybody should have the ability to scan. I think it's just amazing, you know, because then you go deep dive. Because when you have the gold, it's like you experience the frequencies and they do all the things. You get the benefits, but the knowledge and the things and the distance things you can do with the Resonance Plus, it's just like really something you want to experience, I believe, truly. So if you can, get this one. If you can and want more, get the professional, and you're satisfied for forever.
And
So
hang on, we've got these three. What are we going to do with this?
I don't know. Let's take it back to.
So one thing we have thought of is, you know, whoever, you know, wants to, you know, is very curious and feels very called to this, is that, you know, you get the offer of the professional right now, you know, like that actually $1,600 something, and because you're so invested, then you get a gift, an extra gift to spread, to gift to someone, you know, around you. So that's what we thought.
Yes.
So I guess it's the first three. Like, get up to Alex.
Yeah. It's me, Camille, Nathalie, and also Christine. So we all have a Healy link, and we have phones and computers, and we're going to be here outside. So you can ask us questions. You can we can help you check out, which we were doing already in the break. And that's it. It's done. And then
That's a Healy Gold, by the way. She didn't mention this. This is a Healy Gold. So you buy the biggest device, you get a Healy Gold for free because you're here and today purchase.
Yeah, you
professional.
can take it with you right now and start playing with it.
Yeah.
Or give it to someone. And that's one other thing I'd like leave on as well. I'm sure as you've been sitting here today, if you've had names drop in, which tends to happen, of people that you know would love to hear more about this because it may help them with wherever they're at in their lives, like write them down. And like early days, your job isn't to know everything, like Max said, but you can connect them with the leaks, or, you know, start plugging them in so they just can learn, because there might be people out there that are, you know, praying, manifesting, whatever we said, and if those names came to you, it's probably for a reason. So it's one last thing I would suggest to do.
And very lastly, we're in Zurich on the 26th of June. We're in London on the 2nd of July, Barcelona on the 9th of July, and Hamburg on the 16th of July.
Huh? So that means, guys, if you like this one, if you know anybody in the south of Germany, in Switzerland, in the north of Italy, in France, who say like, okay, you can drive 2 hours, you need to get a hand on this technology. The meeting is on the 26th in Zurich. Invite people to come there. It's a free event. We still have Heelys also on this. It will be raffle. The same for London, 2nd of July. If you know people in England and London, and this is actually how you build a business. You know, it's like it's amazing. I mean, Alex, you just go it. You know, I mean, it's like it's really beautiful to have people like this because this is how you can change your life in a way. Because what we're creating here is also passive income, right? Taryn has like tens of thousands of people now in her organization, and it's continuously sharing because the product is so amazing and so damn good. You know, you will not stop it. So if you have people like Alex, for example, she go out and she said, I want to make it my mission. And you have somebody like this is like, oh, thank you. This is amazing, right? Now you want to support her to become successful because if she's successful, you're creating passive income for yourself. And the whole thing becomes a big team. So if anybody of you guys want to go out and get successful, she will support you. So will Sarah. So will Tara. Not me because I'm not in your organization. But no, I'm kidding. I'm actually not in your organization, but I help you, of course. So it's all about teamwork, right? And that's cool. And if you have that one person, maybe that person is next to Zurich. Maybe that person is somewhere in London. Invite her. You never know. You never know. That person is maybe manipulated at work, right? Just like I want to do something else. And then she goes out and shares here. And this creates a really beautiful passive income vehicle. So take these opportunities.
I have a question. What happens if it breaks?
You have a 2-year guarantee. You send it back.
2 years. When you say it's lifelong, it's the access to the program. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, the device has 2 years of warranty. If it breaks because of something is wrong with the device or the battery or whatever, then you, after 2 years, you don't have warranty anymore. But if the device breaks then, you can replace the device with €300 or 350, and you have all the programs and everything on it, you know? So
And
that's how
to your to someone who says when it falls, mine fall over 6 times.
if it falls, just pick it up.
So nothing happened.
Yeah, even, yeah, no, don't go swim with it. Maybe one time.
I don't recommend it, but I even washed mine.
Oh, God. You worked again?
And it's still working.
Depends, you know, it's in the field. If the Healy, sometimes the Healy doesn't work. Sometimes the Healy doesn't work. It's also amazing, you know. Sometimes you really want it, it doesn't work. Because it knows, heal yourself first, you know, fix yourself, then I work again, you know. I'm not the answer for everything.
when it goes out every time.
It's really interesting. Technology has also consciousness.
Only in English, or do you have different languages?
We have 45 different languages, I think. You go in the back office, there's also French. And
I just had to change the application, so I had it in Spanish, but I switched it to English for her, so you can change the language.
Yeah. And then in the back office, when you become a member, you have like a download section with flyers, company presentation, product, everything. So actually, you're self-sustainable. The moment you buy, self-sustainable. If you have a beautiful team, perfect. You know, you cannot fail. It depends on you. It depends on your dedication.
Yeah, I also have a question. Is there sort of book or something? Because I have been downloading the flyers and I have to print them, but they look like printed things. Is there somewhere a place where you can just get a book or something about the Healy itself?
Yeah, you have to go to Mainz in Germany. There's the head office of Healy. They have books there. But you mean you have flyers and brochures that you can buy?
Yeah, even for when you start using the Aura and you start working with clients and so I think that, of course I take notes and everything, but it would be easy to have a.
I mean, there's a big manual in the Healy, but I know what you mean. It's just like a guide that can, not like this, but hey, that's another thing. That's another thing. And this is really what I wanted to tell you as well. Healy is not perfect. You know, the company is still 3 years old and we're very far away from perfect. And when you have a Healy, you will also learn that we're still a baby, you know. But the thing with being perfect is when you are perfect, you don't have the same opportunity anymore. Perfect means momentum already run. And that means you go out here and you see in the coffee shop, they're sitting people with Heelys. And it's very hard to build the business because it's already perfect. So when we're imperfect, there's a lot of opportunity. And that's what it is. So these things that will come, don't know when, but they will come, you know. So it's a lot about also what we want to create, you know, and everybody's different. So it's another.
No, it was only 3 years of what it was like.
No, the company itself, like where we come from, Time Waver is nearly 20 years old. But the Healy itself is only really been available for 3 years. So in terms of opportunity, like if you're actually one of these people that understands opportunity and early adapters and all that sort of stuff, you realize like how incredible this is to be how incredible it is to be sitting in these seats. Like this is early days. When I said to you, the 𝗕𝗃𝗨𝗦𝗃𝗃 you have right now is like having the first Apple that was ever out, in terms of what that technology was like and where it has gone now. So we are sitting in seats that I can tell you unequivocally, people in 5 years' time will think, I wish I could have sat in that seat. I wish I could have known about that 5 years ago. But we get to know about it now. And so, which is super exciting.
Super important point. You're building the business and you have a position in the business. If you buy your device today, you have a position in the business. This position is like real estate. It's not moving away, it stays there. But your neighborhood is developing. Suddenly there are more and more people getting 𝗕𝗃𝗨𝗦, so your position is still there. So now we get a new product here, the 𝗕𝗃𝗨𝗦, right? So my organization is now more than 100,000 people, far more. There's a new product going to be launched, and these people, they love 𝗕𝗃𝗨𝗦. So what do you think what will happen when a 𝗕𝗃𝗨 logo who's already has a 𝗕𝗃𝗨 one wants this device in my organization? It's sales volume that goes all up into my position, So this position will be never taken away. So every time there's a new product launch, and it's continuously happening. The technology is continuously evolving, and it will always go up into your position. So what you're building today will last for you for the next 30, 40, I don't know, depending on how long this company exists or humanity. Right? So it will never be taken away. So that's why.
Well, give us a reason to come back to Brussels. This is the market that you're in.
I have another question. Maybe it's not directly linked to 𝗕𝗃𝗨𝗦, but I saw on the email that there was another giveaway. I think it was like this coaching thing.
Yeah.
And I'm so curious because I want to know.
You can chat to us. So we work with an energy healer, and we have a coaching session with me and with Ken. So one giveaway to one person, in the audience that we can choose as well. Very end. So yeah, it's one giveaway. Yes.
You shouldn't have said that loud.
Awesome.
Any other questions before? We just close it.
Yeah.
Alex.
Just very concretely, very practical person. We will be outside with a screen, so with the phones, with the laptops, and so you can ask us questions, and then we can help you check out with the device if you want. Also show you the promo because there's a discount code that is applied, so you have to know how to do that. And I know that I'm on the phone a lot, so people have questions, so we can just do it for you. It's much easier as long as you have like an online payment. Somebody came with cash as well, so that's also fine. That also works. But that's it. We're gonna be outside. You can approach us, and then we have 3. Is it 3? Yeah, we have 3 giveaways. So if you're among the first 3, then you can claim.
So once again, somebody buys a professional now to get a free gold. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, and the professional is like the best offer because normally it's for €1,000, and now you can get it for a discount.
Yeah. Okay, and somebody who buys the Resonance Plus gets a free coil.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. So.
Because the professional is already including a coil.
Yeah.
And then you get a professional plus coil plus 𝗕𝗃𝗨𝗦 gold, so you have a value of €4,750 for €2,000 today.
Yeah.
And the Resonance Plus is $1,250 and you get a coil. So it's $2,750 for $1,250.
And then of course you can find us all on socials as well. You all receive emails, so you have our social media accounts as well. So you can find us and ask us questions. And with the emails, so if you're in the email list, you can receive updates about the next events and online, offline, everything's happening. So, yeah, find us here. That's it.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Great. Awesome.